Ain't it? Okay, you on too. Everybody's on. Okay, is that better? Yeah. Okay, so.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so you had an amazing weekend.
Amazing weekend.
All right. Professor?
Weekend was great. Keeping family intact. Have a lot of stuff going on with family. Something I'm not used to. When it comes to death and when it comes to sickness, every once in a while we have to go through that, but we still maintain it strong. And as long as we use God as a map, we'll be all right.
There you go.
Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Okay. And security. Who'd you lock up today, this weekend?
Man, I had my son over.
Okay.
Well, actually, we had our youngest son came in town for his spring break, or the end of his spring break. Then my second to the oldest son came in, brought the kids over, the grandkids, and we went to the park and hung out and watched the youngest drive around the park by himself. Because he wanted me to drive with him. I was like,
You didn't feel that?
I'm not going to be able to do it. He thinks he can get me to do anything. And I said, that's one thing you will never get me to do until you get your driver's license and have been driving for at least 10 years.
12 years.
I was like, I still barely get in the car with your brothers, and they grown, 30 and 27. I'm scared. I'm a nervous I'm a nervous rider. You know, so me riding in the car with a new driver, I haven't ridden with Daniel.
You ever ridden with
You
me?
have.
He said yes.
Yes, you have.
When?
When he was in college.
I don't remember. Oh, I sure did. We came from the house.
Were you nervous
From the
then?
grandparents' house. I sure was. But I closed my eyes. I closed my eyes and thought happy thoughts.
All right.
You're
So,
probably the only one I have ridden with. But you've been driving for a while, though. And you've driven from Austin to Fredericksburg to Dallas, so he's driven long distances.
right.
Okay.
But you're not nervous when you drive yourself.
No.
I
I've been driving a long time.
So she trusts her own drive, don't trust nobody else's. So
I trust his, sort
because
of.
that's your husband.
Yeah.
You used to.
I trust my mother.
I guarantee you, when you first rode in the car with him, you were shaking.
I held on to that.
See that?
I did.
All right.
I'm a nervous rider. Can't help it.
That's a mental thing because
It
it went away the more you was able to ride with him.
But I think it's partly because I've been in accidents, car accidents, and I'm just nervous, especially when I get to the light and the protected green is on and we're at the very front. That makes me nervous because I was in an accident like that. I had the protected green and was turning left, and a guy ran the red light and hit me. And my kids were in the car. We did a 360 into a fire hydrant. It was dramatic. So, dramatic and traumatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Spell them both.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Spell them. Traumatrc.
All right, so today we got a really heavy show. We are moving to 3 shows now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ready?
Ready.
Yeah. This is gonna be hot and
Let's
heavy.
roll.
But before we get into that, a lot of news came down today. All those free agents are hitting the market. I mean, we have a new highest paid quarterback coming on the scene.
That's a part of my 4 quarters.
Okay.
All right.
We have coming up. We do have I would say the CEO of BAM, President CEO,
Chief Marketing Officer.
Chief Marketing Officer, CMO.
CMO. All right.
Chief Marketing Officer of BAM. BAM is it's called Basic Athletic Experiment. Basic Athletic Measurement.
Mm-hmm.
Measurement. And we're going to talk about what in the heck is Basic Athletic Measurement.
Okay.
He'll be coming on because we'll be going out to the event in Drive Nation. That's in urban Fort Worth urban area.
Okay.
We'll be there talking with a lot of the basketball players.
Mm-hmm.
You know that are, and they don't have to be college bound. They're just basketball players just trying to get somewhere.
Okay.
So that'll be a fun event. We've got He Say She Say coming up. We got the entertainment segment. 4 quarters. We do have 4 quarters.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about Tiger. And is he back?
That's an easy question to answer.
He's second, right?
Well, he finished second, yes. Then we have our health segment. We all need to be healthy. So we had to bring the guru on because we couldn't do it by
The
ourselves.
health guru.
The health guru, yeah. We had to bring her on because we couldn't do it by ourselves. And then we'll talk Selection Sunday. March Madness, everybody get their brackets out.
Yeah, I got mine ready.
I got mine. I got 3.
Because we know on March the 15th you're looking good. March the 16th you can tear it up.
That's why I have 3.
So March the 15th.
I need to have 10.
March 15th you're real good. Everybody's starting on 0-0.
Okay.
March 16th we just tear it all up and talk about something else next week.
We might have a few of them that's still hanging there.
It might. So and then I got to get birthdays out of the way. Because we got a lot. Well, number one, rest in peace,
Craig
Mack.
Yeah.
He passed away today. We all came down today. He passed away.
47 years old.
And I think it was a heart attack or something like that, wasn't it?
He passed away at a local South Carolina hospital of heart failure.
Heart failure.
He had been telling close ones that he wasn't feeling too good over the course of the last couple of months, and he of course decided to forego Christian faith, and so he knew his time was coming.
Wow.
And,
At 47.
Wow.
But he did accept Jesus as his Savior.
Hallelujah.
And that's the only thing that matters.
Saving grace.
Amen to that. Amen.
So, but yeah, he. I first, I think I broke the news when I first heard about it. This was 5:30 this morning when I heard about that. I was just in total shock. I didn't know the man was sick like that. He wasn't even 50. He had heart failure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of health gurus and stuff. I mean, I see more and more people in their 40s just they're either struggling or they're gone.
Yeah.
That's stress.
But
silent killer.
Rest in peace, Craig Mack.
Rest in peace.
Birthdays, Jasmine Guy.
Different world.
Different world, yeah.
And Harlem Nights. She turned a different age March the 10th. Yeah, don't tell her what her age is.
You're
not supposed to ask that.
It's out there. You should research it.
Yeah, that's true. I think she's 50.
She's like 55.
So she's in the 50s?
Yeah.
Terrence Howard.
He's in the late 40s.
Higher.
Yeah, Common, March the 13th.
Okay.
Simone Biles, March the 14th.
We have another celebrity's birthday is on March 14th. That's not on your list.
Steph Curry, March the 14th.
Okay.
Quincy Jones, he's 85.
Wow.
Yeah, March the 14th.
He's still kicking it.
Yes.
Will I Am, March 15th.
Black Eyed Peas.
Eva Longoria.
Who's born on my birthday?
When's your birthday again?
Friday, the 16th.
The 16th?
We got some celebrities
Blake
of our
Griffin.
own.
Blake Griffin?
Yeah.
The 16th?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Let's see. Tamar Braxton, the 17th. Queen Latifah, the 18th.
Man, we got some celebrities.
Look at that. You in good company.
Go ahead, Shelly.
What? What?
Go ahead.
Oh, our daughter's birthday is the 14th.
Oh, okay.
I was talking about Lewis.
This is Alex. Is it Alex or
No, this is Tiffany.
Tiffany? Okay.
Tiffany's the one
Okay.
in Houston, and her birthday is the 14th.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
celebrity birthdays.
All right, so those are your birthdays.
That's a nice list there.
Happy birthday to you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we
Okay.
come back, we're going to come back with Chris from BAM,
Okay.
Basic Athletic Measurements.
All right.
Okay.
He'll come on and talk to us about BAM, and hopefully he don't hit nobody when he's saying BAM. That's what I heard that.
Bam, bam,
yeah.
bam,
Yeah,
bam.
yeah, Flintstone. Bam, bam. Yeah.
You did say Flintstones.
Yeah. All right, so let's take a quick break, and we're gonna take a break with some Craig Mack since he's gone. So we'll be right back.
All right.
You need to turn it down.
Ouch.
I can hear it.
I know.
Phyllis said my mic is low. That's what I was telling you.
So,
Okay.
do I need to
So let's switch it. Yeah, let's switch it up.
Okay.
She's.
No, you're fine. He's gonna come right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. He's gonna come right here.
How do you know Facebook Live?
Oh, don't step in front of the camera.
She didn't know that. What's going on there?
I said, oh. Yep, your skirt and everything and feet is all in the camera.
Hey, can we link up in a minute?
I did not realize that was him.
I'm in Arlington now.
I didn't. I'm not a rap person. I never have been.
Oh, wow. Oh, really?
I didn't know what song he sang.
Hit me as soon as you got as soon as you out.
He is best known,
Okay.
and this is no lie, he is best known for putting Puff Daddy on
Well,
the map.
that I saw. I did see that. But again,
Puff Daddy probably wants it. I don't know if he will.
I'm not a big Puff Daddy fan.
Yeah.
Now, Snoop Doggy Dogg. That's another story.
All right, y'all ready?
Somebody's trying to say, I said, this man
The person that's calling in is Brett Brungart. The person that was calling in is Brett Brungart, and he's the CEO.
Okay, Brett Ron.
Yeah.
Okay, he's gonna call us.
So
What's
you
his line number?
see him on, he's the CEO.
Correct.
All right.
All right, I'll be looking forward to it. Forward. All right, I'm gonna fade out and we're gonna come back on. There he is right there. Hey, Brett. Hey, we're getting ready to plug you in, okay? Well, we're gonna soon find out. All right. Okay. All right. Y'all ready? All right. That was some.
Okay, that was Craig Mack with brand new flavor in your ear. Rest in peace, Craig Mack. We are back with 4-1 Sports Talk Radio and PhoneRadioNetwork.com. We have sitting in the seat in the set 4-1 Sports is Chris, the CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. How you doing there, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
We thank you for coming on. We also have on our phone is Brett. Brett, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
All right. Look at that. I worked something right now.
Boy.
Brett, it's like Sprint. Can you hear me now?
Don't mess it
Can you
up.
hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Well, I can kind of hear you. Yeah, you're doing okay.
All right, good. Thank you. Okay is better than nothing. Okay, so talk to us about number one. Talk to us about what is basic athletic measurement. Basic athlete measurement.
Well, basic athletic measurement, BAM, started about 10 years ago. It was started by Brett Brungart and Martin Halster, the co-founders, and we are an athletic combine testing service with the testing service for the NBA draft, for the G League, the Junior NBA, the International Cricket Association, and we test for about 17 different sports. We have the ability to basically find out whether a good athlete is just a good athlete, no matter what sport it is. And our test helps to identify those things.
Wow. Okay, so Brett, you're the founder, right?
Yeah, one of them, sir.
Yeah. Okay. What was your thought pattern when you came up with something like this?
Well, I'm an old coach. I was a strength conditioning coach for 25 years. I coached for the Mavericks. I was there for a few years with the Mavericks. Back when Don Nelson was the coach, the strength conditioning coach. But that process became about finding out what the truths when athletes were and getting some reliable and valid benchmarks that we could utilize to help with physical development and also identify areas of issues, asymmetries as far as injury potential, and also look at finding some or IDing talent for future athletes.
Okay, and I see I'm on your website. I see you had Don Nelson kind of is brought into the product. Little Whistle. Is this Don Nelson Big Whistle or Little Whistle?
This is Little.
This
Johnny Jr.
this is Little
Wow.
Whistle. Okay. So
Awesome.
Little Whistle is bought into it. David Robinson is bought into this product also, and you have Pat Jenkins. Are those some of the? Well, I know you dealt with Little Whistle, but like David Robinson and Pat, are those some of the athletes that you dealt with?
Well, David, I trained in his. My brother was the strength conditioning coach for the Spurs for a long time, but I would work with David in the off season after he had some back issues, and he's one of the athletes that, I've worked with as far as physical development. And then we kind of talk about the testing. He understands the importance and the significance and bringing it to his groups, especially his foundation and grassroots athletes that he's working with.
Okay. So, Chris, you said this is a 10-year company. How long have you been doing this event that you have coming up?
Oh, we just started. Actually, last week was our first one in San Francisco. We created out of BAM what we call the Sports Science Network, where we are bringing in some of our affiliates, some of our other friends in the same industry and realm, and basically putting on a Disneyland for sports science. It's
awesome.
Open combine testing, the same thing that we do with the NBA and the G League, along with great workshops for coaches and parents, as well as vendor booths, from sports medicine to wearables, just basically everything that you need to know and need to learn to help with your athletic growth, athletic performance growth.
So, what is your age limit?
Right.
Sure. So for testing, the 9 years old and up for testing.
Really?
And then the workshops and the vendor booths is open. It's wide open.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And so, Brett, was the thought to start in the NBA and move to other sports, or is the NBA that big piece of rock you got to deal with?
Well, I had connections in the NBA, and that certainly helped to brand our product. But as a strength conditioning coach, again, I coached over 26 sports in my career, and they all have the component of physical development in there. You have to know where you are to know where you're going, and that's what we find out with the test. We set a benchmark, they train, we retest, and when all those parameters are moving in the right direction, then we have better athletes.
Okay. So okay. Since you got started, did you want to say something?
Is the event open to the public?
It definitely is. Please come out. We're going to be at Drive Nation from 9 to 1.
9 to 1. Okay.
Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm. St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Now, do we have to wear green?
You don't have to, but it'll
I'm
be
a
a plus.
pitcher.
It'll be a plus if you do. Bring the green.
Yeah, and the green.
Yeah.
Bring both types
Look,
of
wear
green.
your green and bring your green.
But more than anything, I want people to understand that this is what we're trying to do is help people become their own experts in their athletic growth.
That's awesome.
Not for you to really depend on anyone else, but make it so that you can translate and understand what's going on when you see data and you see numbers, and you can figure out how that can elevate you.
That's so awesome.
So you started at 9. What's the oldest you go to?
Oh, people on crutches and canes may not be able to go through this test, but we will test you anyway. We'll see what happens.
So you want to get tested, Mr. Benchwarmer?
I was just finding a way out.
I want him tested.
You want him tested?
I want him tested.
Come out. We want to see you in your shorts and your tank top.
I was looking for an exit strategy.
Yeah.
I'm going
Brett, can I have
shopping
an exit
tomorrow.
strategy?
No. Mm-mm.
I'm hoping this conversation is appropriate for radio.
We can say whatever we want.
That's good. That's good. I don't want to see you short. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that might not be appropriate for radio.
Athletic shorts, not supporters or anything like that.
There you go.
Oh, so you have an event this coming Saturday. You have other events that are on the table also as well.
Sure. We just started in San Francisco. We have Dallas this week. We're going to be in Portsmouth, Virginia, next to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. You know about this tournament?
No, just the fact that you're going that far.
Well, we're touring the whole country throughout the year.
Wow.
But the Portsmouth Invitational is something you should really check out too. It's been around for about correct me if I'm wrong, Brett, 56 years.
Get out of town.
60, no, you got to reverse it. 65 years.
Wow.
65. I'm
Whoa.
all wrong. The
Okay,
numbers
so
are wrong,
what is the
but-
Portsmouth
Over
Invitational?
So it was created back in 53, and basically they take the top 64 seniors around the country, and they play in this tournament, and it happens about a month before the NBA draft combine, and it's really the kickoff of the whole recruiting season. You know, the recruiting season goes
Right,
through
right.
April all the way through the summer league.
Is it
It's
just
the beginning.
basketball?
It's just
kids, or-
basketball,
Okay.
The thing is, like, all the NBA teams are there represented, watching and scouting.
Wow.
What day is
European teams, international teams are there as well. And if we started to name some of the names that have come through there, like Scottie Pippen, help me out, Brett. Scottie Pippen,
65 years and we didn't
John
know
Stockton,
John Stockton. Wow.
John Stockton, Penny
Hardaway, Dennis Rodman. So many people have cut their teeth on this tournament and become superstars in front of our eyes from the tournament. And what we're doing is we're holding one of our Sports Science Expo seminar sessions alongside of this tournament
Wow.
in West Virginia.
Wow.
That is awesome. Oh my
Wow.
gosh. So you're going from West Coast to East Coast.
Yeah, I just said, I know.
Did you say Western?
I know, not that Virginia, the regular Virginia. We're going to Virginia.
Oh. Okay.
One of them
It's
is
still
right.
over.
Yeah.
It's still
Starts
on
with-
the East
It
Coast.
starts with a V. It starts with a V.
Yeah.
Right,
it's
right,
in the
right,
city.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So your last event that you have scheduled for was in Vegas, right?
That's the one after that is going to be in Las Vegas, right
I
next
think
to the
we'll go
Summer
to that
League.
one.
You should. Come on out.
We've been trying to get to Vegas
Yeah.
anyway, so
Now,
we
do
got an
I,
excuse.
if I come out,
Mm-hmm.
can I broadcast while I'm at the casino?
No.
I don't think you can do that.
No, no.
I don't think you
Can't
can.
be at the blackjack table broadcasting?
No.
No. Especially because I don't know.
We got a wireless.
Well, you're going to get thrown out
You're going to
of
get thrown out.
Vegas.
Yeah.
The whole city is going to throw you
All
out.
right, I'll wait till the event is over with.
So what date is the Vegas one?
Man. It is in July
Yes.
10th, I believe. Hold on.
It's right
My
there on the
friend is gonna
website.
tell me.
I've got it on.
He's got it on the
Yes.
website.
I'm just trying to get through all these
And if you-
graduations, proms, and
Yeah.
all the stuff we got going on.
Vegas, baby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that works. Get
And
our
if you
last
wanna
kid out of
know-
high school,
Yeah.
ready to go.
If you want to know more about BAM and the Science Expo, you can always go to our website. It's on our website, or you can always go to BAM, or you can go to sportsscienceexpo.com.
Yeah.
And it'll give you a lot more information about the Sports Science Expo. And then you can go to BAM, which is
BAMtesting.com.
BAMtesting.com.
This is
And you can
awesome.
get more information from this event here. And it's really huge. They've got 0 days now till this event comes up, so it's coming up pretty soon. And I'm trying to go to the website, so
Now,
I'm
how do
slow.
athletes become a part of this event? They just
Sure.
Get something else.
If you're interested in coming out and testing, if you're interested in checking out some of our great speakers that are going to be there, you can just go to sportsscienceexpo.com. You can register there, or even send in your email to info@bamtesting.com as well. Love to see you out there.
yeah.
definitely. And are you still accepting vendors and sponsors, or have you cut off?
We are.
Okay, great. Post it out there on our social media and get it
Much obliged.
popping.
Much
Yeah.
obliged.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to add? Something we may be forgetting?
I don't think so. I think what I do want to leave everybody with is that it's important to know where you are in your athletic growth.
Yes.
And BAM is like an athletic GPS. It shows you where you are and where you need to go.
That's awesome.
Athletic GPS.
That's
pretty
a
good.
nice little tagline.
I didn't make it up. Give Brett all the credit.
Hey, it's still, look, Brett, that's a great tagline.
Well, I mean, or face it, everybody wants to get there. Your pathways may be different, but if you want to be successful, you got to know where you are and you set your goals and you get there.
That's so true.
So, Brett, I do have this one question. You said you trained with the Mavericks with Don Nelson. Did you tell Eric Dampier he can't jump?
Really?
I would never tell an athlete they can't do anything.
Put folks on the spot, boy.
make better.
That's okay. I still owe him $5, so I'm leaving.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Now,
Man.
people, radio personalities, I often comment on their physical capabilities. So be careful.
Oh, so that means I'm not coming.
You better be careful. I want to go.
Uh-huh.
I want to go to Vegas, so just calm it down.
No, I might get caught out. Okay, we
You know I
appreciate
can
you
come
guys.
without him. You know.
Yeah, I know. We appreciate having you on the show. We look forward to this Saturday's event. Again, tell us where that is going to be.
It's going to be at Drive Nation, right next to the DFW airport, really close. Really nice facility, great speakers, great testing, great food,
9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
plenty of things to learn. Come on out.
I
Awesome.
like the word great food.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I know. I knew how to entice
That's a
you.
nice draw.
That wasn't for anybody else. That was only for you.
You caught on real good.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat. Then I'm going to go train and
Reverse order.
Really?
Yeah, reverse order.
Wrong order.
Come on an empty stomach.
I'll have an
Test.
excuse.
And then you can
Yeah.
eat.
Okay, we've been talking to Chris and Brett. We got with BAM. Glad you guys came on. Look forward to seeing the event this Saturday, and we'll be broadcasting a little bit more. And we want to hear a lot more about the after effects. What do you think about this? So I want to interview you while we're there. If there's a possibility.
Please do.
One last
Okay.
question. What does your attendance look like?
How many people?
Mhm.
Or, man, we're hoping at least a couple of thousand.
So they register before they come? Or they
People
just-
can register, but you can still walk in as well.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Walk-ins are welcome.
Yay.
Again, Drive
Can't wait.
Nation, BAM Sports Science Expo, which is probably the first time we've ever had a sports science expo here.
Right.
Yeah. So
In Grapevine,
yeah,
Texas.
yeah.
It won't be the last.
It won't be the last. Okay,
Yes.
we look forward to guys seeing you there this Saturday.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you
All right.
so much for having us.
All right, Brett, thanks for calling in, and we'll see you Saturday too.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, okay, and when you see me, don't say nothing. Okay, just walk on by.
I'll be the one in the green.
We'll be looking forward to it. See you soon.
All right, thanks a lot.
See ya.
Again, that was BAM Basic Athletic Measurements with Sports Science Expo that's coming up this Saturday at Drive Nation. You guys come out. Starts from 9 to 1 o'clock, and we'll be there in full effect, or in half effect, or whatever effect that I can give you.
Come on, man. Full effect.
Full effect.
That's the
Full
only
effect.
effect that there is.
Full.
All right.
Or belly full effect.
Boy, believe it.
All right, we'll be right back. When we come back, we're going into Tiger Woods, and is he back or not?
All
This is
right.
the
All right, y'all.
41 Sports Talk Radio, 4 Radio Network.
You know you can stay and talk about
Yeah, you
Tiger
can stay
if
and
you
talk
like.
if you want to.
I don't know if I have much to say.
All right, we'll be right back.
He just gave his answer.
But don't worry, I don't either. I watch because of him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a golf fan. No,
Awesome.
big golf fan.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem.
All right,
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you guys coming out with next Saturday, right?
And the kids,
Chris, what time do they need to
Yeah.
set up?
Yeah, it's a family thing.
What
Yes.
time, Chris, what time do they need to be there to set up on time?
Uh, so,
You coming, right?
yeah.
Where?
To the thing on Saturday.
Please. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I gotta take a wife first. She
I know.
ain't got no plans.
Yes.
I've done that before. and
Appreciate
that
that.
wasn't too happy that
Oh,
day.
I can
I
only
wasn't happy that
imagine.
day.
Yeah.
I know how it feels.
About communication, so
We'll do that.
I found that out the hard way.
We'll make something for you. And I'm about to go over to the facility now over there, so I'll find us.
Okay, then I'll call you.
session for you.
Next one, okay.
Okay. And if you want now, I don't know, maybe we can do some sort of contest or something.
Sure.
So,
You can announce stuff from the table.
okay.
Yeah, we did it.
Okay. So, you guys need anything else from us or anything?
Just a spot in the park without paying.
We got you.
Yeah, because we out by the airport, you know, them parking
Man, I think they
is
have free parking there. They got plenty of parking at the facility.
Let's Drive Nation. Oh, I'm thinking airport.
Yeah.
Drive
Yeah.
Nation is totally
Have you been
different.
over there
I
yet?
have not. Wow, I can't wait.
I've been touring around the country looking at spaces. It's a 12 out of 10.
Okay.
Definitely.
Come this way, you gonna have to behind me.
Oh.
You don't want anybody. No. You don't want anybody looking looking at you.
I don't.
From that side.
Pleasure meeting you. Thank you, for feeding.
Saturday. Nice to meet you, Shaq.
Thank you. You too.
And I might work out.
Oh, he gonna test. He gonna get tested.
Okay, I'm gonna have a camera.
You guys, yes.
So we'll get you on film. We'll post it everywhere.
Please do.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. We'll get you.
That's kind of top right there.
So be prepared. Lotion. Don't forget.
Oh yeah.
Arms,
Yeah.
knees.
Elbows. Okay.
Baby oil, Vaseline, all that. Y'all watch those stairs, please. They're meant for like little baby feet.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a minute.
All right, Miss. Come on back. Where Miss Tiffany go? Oh, she's talking.
Yes. All right, we got 30 seconds.
Oh, Ivy wants you to take a picture of us for the magazine.
Okay. 15 seconds. Y'all ready?
All right, we're back. This is 41 Sports Talk Radio on ForumRadioNetwork.com. I am the Benchwarmer. Just got out with BAM, Basic Athletic Measurement, going to the Sports Science Expo this coming Saturday from 9 to 1. And if they say they don't put me on camera, so I have to lose the weight before then.
If you can lose it that fast, tell me your secret.
Don't know if that can be done, but I'm gonna try. Okay, we're back. We got to get into the phenom that is Tiger Woods, because Tiger is back. He is back in full effect. He just went second place at the Valspar Invitational, which a no name won, but they won by one stroke. And I actually was watching that. Have you ever just watched golf? Anybody just watch golf?
I tried.
You watched golf before?
I watch when he plays.
Yeah. I mean,
And we've been to the
it
Byron
could be
Nelson.
My son plays.
It could be a fascinating game
It is. It can be when you're focused and paying attention.
when you know what you're doing.
And when you know, when he started teaching me what what birdie means and par and all this stuff, then it was like, okay, now I understand it. But I like going to the golf tournaments and just driving the car around.
But it's
I like being the beverage girl, so
I like the beverage girl.
I know you do.
Just as long as you got beverage. No.
Exactly. I'll come around there with no water. No,
Yeah, that ain't gonna work.
he's not gonna like
That
that.
ain't gonna work. I missed me with that one right there.
But
But
golf is interesting. It actually is when you really sit down and
it is. It started out when I started playing. The true story. So I started playing. I was playing with Tim Brown's golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So Tim Brown happened to be a client of mine. So I went to his golf tournament, and we was playing with. I was on the team with James Lofton. If you know who James Lofton, you remember James Lofton?
Yes.
Well, he couldn't play either.
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. So we're both playing, and it got to be so bad to where we was just betting on who can hit the ball the furthest. And so he was beating me out a little bit. So it got to be where he said, you know what, I bet you I can hit the ball farther, you can throw it. I said, oh yeah, that's on you on right here. Double or nothing on right there. I was down by $20 already.
oh my
I
goodness.
said, you on. I took the ball and I threw it, and when I released it, I didn't release it at the top of the throw. I released it at the bottom of the throw where it hit the cart and went back. And he couldn't hit either, so he tapped his up like so now you're down by 40. I wound up not having to be down that much. Well, actually, I wound up breaking even because I had one good shot, and that one good shot was a double nothing shot, and so after that, we was over. But that's kind of how it started. So me and my brother decided to go out and play, and we went to the driving range. And so in the driving range, you got corners. You know, you go to the driving range, they got a little where you sit. Well, I'm not sitting where you stand, and you can hit the ball, and no one's gonna, your ball's not being interrupted when you're hitting it out. Well, My brother hit the ball, and instead of it going straight, it went sideways. It hit the one guard, hit the other guard, and went backwards, and we just stopped. We just walked off. So golf is a real good game. Tiger Woods, he was 8 under par, which the leader was 9 under, and they went down. They could have done a playoff. They could have had a playoff because that last shot he hit. He had a good shot. He parred that hole, but he had a chance to birdie it, but it was a long birdie shot. It was a long birdie shot, but he was in a lot of long birdie shots, though. So it's going to be good to see him. PGA is back now.
Yes.
What do you think? It's back now.
It is.
Yeah, it's back now. Now that he's on, it's back.
I think PJ is back, but I don't think it's too early to say Tiger Woods is back for this reason.
Ooh, okay.
Consistency. When he first came out, the amazing consistency he put on, winning tournament after 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 tournament. That's how we all knew who Tiger Woods was. Every time we heard golf, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it was his name coming up.
But however, 4 back surgeries now. He's much older, had a long layoff, had the nasty relationship thing going on with the ex.
And his dad passed.
With him doing what he's doing now, that's a good start. But I can't say he's back until I see that he wins the Arnold Palmer Invitational, which I think is this week, and next month's Masters. If he wins the Masters,
then you good.
Okay, now I can say you're back. But it's too early to say that right now. We want to see some consistency.
But here's the deal, though. You look. I'm gonna show you what I look at consistency. His first time he came back after the back surgery and everything, he was 20. He didn't make the cut the first time. Then the second tournament, he was number 23. Then the third tournament, he was 12. Now he's number 2. That's nothing but growth.
Right.
Nothing but growth. So that means you conquered all those demons that you had going on. So the next tournament, he should win that next tournament.
He's expecting to win the Arnold Palmer Invitation.
And did you know that he's only Sam Snead is ahead of him by 3 wins. He's got 79 wins. Sam Snead has 80 wins. Sam Snead is the most 82 wins. Sam Snead is the most winningest golfer, and he's got 82 wins. Majors, only Jack Nicklaus has 18 majors won. He has 14.
See, this is what I'm talking about. He's still up there with the greats despite the entire layoff. Because he did all this. He was the dominant Tiger Woods in the early part of the late 90s. If he had remember the talk of how he was going to shatter everybody's records at the pace he was going. Up until that divorce happened.
Until that driver hit him in the head.
I think he started to fall off when his dad passed, though.
No, he was still on top of his game.
You think so?
Yeah, but when that driver,
but when that nasty relationship he had went down, we all kept saying that has affected him so much he might not even be the same again.
Right.
His play dropped off. He started getting hurt a lot. Then his dad passed.
Karma.
And then he was getting rid of.
You wouldn't say karma?
He was getting rid of his cat. He was getting rid of caddies. He was getting rid of trainers.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, just knocking everybody off. But having said that, though, it took Sam Snead 30 years to get 82 wins. It took Jack Nicklaus 25 years to get 73 wins. This is only Tiger's 18th year. And he's at 79 wins and 14 majors.
Despite the layoff.
He's
still right there with the top.
So, I mean, you give him another.
He had to be humbled. He did.
Yeah,
he needed to be
Tiger's
humbled.
not even 50.
No, he's 42.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Man, he still got a future ahead of him.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
I mean, because golf is not an exertive type of sport.
No,
it's a sport of strategy, right?
Yeah, it's exertive.
So this what happens when you,
for people that don't know how to play.
This what happens when you start young and you start off dominant right off the top.
Right off the top, yep. He came out when he was a kid, and he was dominant then. And then he just keeps going. He had that little layoff. He'll get it back. I'm telling you, he's back. I'm telling you,
I think it's a relaxing sport.
It can be.
It's good for your mind to just unwind, and
if you don't take it serious, and if it's just a sport, then it can be a relaxing sport. If you just kind of hit it, but when you first get out there, when I first got out there, I was frustrated. I mean, I couldn't hit I'm trying to hit this little dang ball and it won't, every time I swing it, just still there.
That's why I think it's just, that's why I will continue to believe it's a sport.
Yeah.
It's a lot
He won't
more
give me
to
my
it. It
pink
looks
golf
simple.
clubs till I learn how to swing.
It's like,
It looks simple.
but
It does.
It's very
simple.
hard.
It's not. It's almost like I would play, and I still play to this day. Is I would go to the golf. I'll go to the clubhouse, buy me a set of balls, and I would go off of how many balls I lose.
Oh my
That
God.
is the way you say stuff. Oh my God, he just said stuff so funny. I'm
He's trying to be
trying.
sarcastic.
I just cannot.
No. This is actually serious though. I would go buy a set of golf balls, and I would play until I would see how many am I going to lose today. And if I don't lose a lot of golf balls, then I'm okay. I mean, I've gone to where I can go through a 9 round. I got to keep saying golf balls.
Yeah, say golf balls.
Yeah, I can go through 9. I can go through 9 rounds, and maybe have maybe have used a sleeve of balls, which is 3.
My God.
And that's not me.
Really?
That is not me. I'm just saying that she the one going on.
It's him, y'all. Y'all just don't know. Anyway.
A sleeve of golf balls.
Okay.
Okay, focus.
I can't even finish saying it.
Go ahead, finish the segment. You're doing good.
But it's hard to hit them balls.
You know, let's talk about something else. Cedric.
He stuck right there.
He does it on purpose, y'all. It's so subtle.
Okay.
It's so subtle. And he knows once he gets me going, that is it. Oh,
Okay.
my stomach hurts.
But yes, I believe Tiger is back. I believe he'll win the next tournament. And if he wins that next tournament, you know, what is it going to do for the whole golf world then?
I'm gonna say
Everybody
Tiger
gonna start
Woods.
rolling in.
I'm gonna say Tiger Woods is back in terms of TV ratings.
Oh yeah.
And in the last golf tournament and I should have pulled this stat up. In his last golf tournament, he gave that network ratings that they didn't expect.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
It's gonna make a lot of money.
And that's
He's back in terms of that regard. If your ratings skyrocket that quick, it just goes to show his name, Tiger Woods, the brand name, Tiger Woods, how impactful those 2 words are
Exactly.
to
I wonder if
TV
he's gonna get
networks.
his endorsements back.
Oh yeah, he'll probably come back.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You know, they started
Yeah.
pulling them things left and right.
No, they're gonna drop them endorsement on him like it's nobody's business.
He had to ask for more money.
And he's actually the #1 golf earner. You know, he's in the world actually.
I can believe that.
Because he's and actually I didn't realize that there is a World Golf Hall of Fame.
Get out.
Yeah, and he'll be in it. At the
Oh,
end
of
of the day.
course.
It's all
Oh,
said
most
and done.
definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
When it's all said and done, he will be in it. Tiger Woods, and it's funny that we talk about Tiger Woods, but heck, Serena Williams, how do you beat somebody with being pregnant?
Right?
Isn't that amazing?
And you know, they tried to say that she was using steroids.
Right.
Come on,
Yeah.
Not that
She came like, no, I'm not doing that. But how do you beat somebody? So you talking about
That's
two?
the haters for you.
Haters.
You talking about 2 players that have brought their sport that was predominantly a white sport, brought it into the mainstream of African Americans.
Right.
Because golf was predominantly a white sport until he came on the scene. I know you had Vijay Singh and you had all these other golfers, but not to the extent that Tiger was. And you talking about Serena Williams, Serena and her sister Venus.
That's that black girl magic right there.
Landing.
That's that black girl magic right there,
Yes.
Serena and Venus.
Which Venus beat Serena.
Now with tennis, I would say they brought
Pregnancy
the
does
sport
that.
back from the standpoint you just presented. But the last person to do so, I would say, would be Arthur Ashe.
I was gonna say Arthur Ashe was.
I would say
bomb.
when he passed
Loved
away,
him.
it kind of went
It drove it down.
right.
But then they brought it back up again. It's almost like the Magic Johnson effect. Before Magic Johnson came into the NBA, you know, the NBA was fading off. And they had to do something. So then you had the Magic Larry Bird rival, and that rivalry right there brought it back.
So-
and then Jordan just took it to that next level.
So it was fading off with Dr. J.
Yep.
I love Dr. J.
Because the superstars in the '80s, basketball was
Bill Russell? Will Chamberlain?
Well, Bill Russell wasn't. Bill Russell was a coach then in the '80s. I'm talking about the early '80s. I'm talking about the '78, '79.
Okay, so Dr. J then.
Yeah, anytime you got the Washington Wizards winning the championship, there's a problem.
The
Washington Bullets.
Right.
They were Washington Bullets. Anytime they win the championship, this is a 78, 79, there's an issue.
There's an issue for real.
There's a huge issue with basketball when the Washington Bullets win.
Why is there an issue?
Because Washington Bullets were just sorry.
But they're in the NBA. Every NBA team has the chance to win a championship.
Okay. Anytime you can go to a LA Clipper game and sit on the front row and probably play, there's a problem. Because in the 80s, you could go to the LA Clipper game, sit on the front row, and they probably let you play. Put your jersey on.
Get in the game.
They were sorry. So now every NBA shoot, you can go to the Maverick game right now, sit on the front row.
I'm just saying basically there's NBA teams in the league for a reason. Whether it's the Memphis Grizzlies or the Lakers, when they come down to the NBA Finals or whoever holds up the O'Brien Trophy, you're deemed as the best
NBA team
in the NBA. But at the beginning of the season, it's all the teams involved, and then the sorry ones separate from the best, and then you just move forward from there. But you'll have parity in the league sometimes where you thought that team was sorry, end up sneaking up in the stands, and they end up winning the championship, like the Washington Bullets. Yeah. No one expected them, but they had the talent to match up well. So, I mean, it just works like that.
Let's take it like this right here. You know, I run a 6'4" in a 40.
A 6'4"?
No. I probably run like a 4'7", 4'8" in a 40.
You that fast?
No, I ran a 4'4" in high school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't big either. So.
He was really thin.
But what I'm saying is that if you have the majority of players that run a 4'7", 4'8", 4'9", that's the majority in that particular league. Mm-hmm. The best person who runs a 4'8" might not be the best person on the planet. They're just the best for that league.
Right.
At that time, when the Washington Bullets won, they didn't have really good teams in the NBA. So when you bring on a Magic and a Bird, you know, anytime you got like over the whole decade, only the Lakers and the Celtics were winning. Over the whole decade of the 70s, they actually in the 80s. Yeah, and you have a team like Detroit. Well, Detroit did sneak into the end of the 80s. You know, yeah, they just sneak into the end. So that whole decade was either Lakers or Boston.
Yeah, that's true.
Where was everybody else?
Yeah.
Everybody else was mediocre, or they was there but just couldn't beat the Lakers or the Celtics.
Even when the Mavericks got into the NBA in 1980, you know, in '85 they were a contender. The Mavericks were. As a matter of fact, in '88 they took the Lakers to the NBA. They took the Lakers to Game 7 conference finals.
Yeah.
You know, the Mavericks. What does that say about the rest of those teams that have been there for a long time?
That's a prime example right there of what I was saying. Yeah. And vividly, I remember that game. Mavericks went to, I was 11 years old and I remember this. The Mavericks went to L.A.
They went to L.A.
Mavericks won all 3 of their home games. Lakers won all 3 of their home games. None of the visiting teams won on the opposing team's court. Right. So you go into Game 7. I'm up for like, wow, the Mavericks are 1 game away from the finals.
And they took them down to the wire.
You had Aguirre, Harper, you had Perkins, Brad Davis.
You had some players.
I mean, there were some good matchups, but I saw the games. They kept, by the end of the second quarter, the best team won. The Lakers started running away from the Mavericks. Yeah, I mean, it just happens like that. But I'm just saying, who would have thought the Mavericks would challenge the Lakers to 7 games like that?
That soon. So my point is that you can have, I mean, the whole league can be kind of just like, you know, drug people and just like, you know, whatever. You go to golf. I mean, in golf, we needed Tiger Woods because, I mean, Jordan Spieth was our big to go guy.
Local.
But that was our big to go guy.
Well, he's not Tiger Woods.
He ain't Tiger Woods.
He went around the world to go to.
When you bring in a Sergio Garcia, who is way down on the list in wins. I mean, but he comes up, I'm big Sergio. No, you big nothing because you're not doing nothing. You You know, you got VJC, and then you got
I don't know what happened to him.
Phil Mixon, Mr. Choker himself. You know, I mean, yeah, Mickelson.
Now that was Tiger Woods' rival for a while. Phil Mickelson
and who was the other? Fuzzy Zeller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuzzy Zeller.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about I don't eat corn. I don't eat chicken.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, boy, please.
I don't eat chicken and watermelon.
That was just a little bit of hate because
That was.
that was just hate.
That was. But my point is that, yeah, I'm glad Tiger's back. I think he's back. I think he'll win the next tournament. I think he'll win a couple more. I think he's got a couple more majors in him if he stays the course.
Mm-hmm.
Stays focused.
That means he can't get married. He can't go to the sex shop.
Please don't.
Lord have mercy.
And speaking of that,
The sex shop or married?
no. Speaking of that, I'm talking about him getting married. Something just hit a light bulb just went on when you said that.
Nothing wrong with
His greatest success was when he was single.
When he was singing, right? Because he was focused.
That's just amazing. I mean, his greatest success was when he was single.
Athletes might have to wait till they get out of the sport before they get married.
No.
Because boy, if she good,
Different strokes for different folks. Some folks work. Some folks operate well when they're when they booed up.
Yeah, when they
Who
booed up.
he married.
Yes.
Huh?
Could be who he married as well.
That's true. I ain't forgetting
Y'all just
that.
remember
Yeah.
that. And had it been somebody else,
Right. Uh-huh.
No, she
boy,
she
please.
cussed him
That'd have
out.
been his Okoye, like Russell Maryland said. He'd have been up there, like Russell Maryland said his wife was for him.
She cussed him
So
out.
it could be
She showed that skin
who
color.
he was married to.
He was probably trying to get
Just
Chinese.
remember that.
Trying to get her
Boy,
Chinese like his
he was
mom.
black and Asian. More black than Asian.
Then Asian. Okay. So-
And even an Asian woman, he probably would have been really good with.
So let's do this right here. Okay, so we're moving things around. 4 quarters are coming up next. We're going to go to the entertainment segment. After the entertainment segment, we're going to do 4 quarters.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Tell
So
us how we rolling.
I'm producing on the run.
Can we say hi to our audience?
Yeah, you can.
We got some
good
folks
audience
on
members.
the
And
line.
you got
They
plenty of
been
comments.
commented,
Okay.
told you was a clown and everything.
Somebody said, yes, Sherry, your husband is a client.
That was Small World.
Oh,
Small
Small
World
World.
came on the line.
Tina.
Hey, what's up, Tina? My brother, hey Jay. Phyllis is there. Erica is there. Who
Did I
else is
tell
on
you
there?
all
Bunch of
about
folks.
the cruise that I went on recently?
No, you never did tell us how it
didn't
went.
Remember, I said me and the wife was going on the cruise.
Yeah, you told us you were going, but I don't remember what you
And
said
she-
coming
Oh, okay.
back.
That's what I want to make sure you knew. When we got to the cruise, we saw Small World.
At the
Did
cruise?
you?
Yes.
Oh, you never told us that. Small World, you went on a cruise. Why you ain't tell
She
us?
was there
You
with
ain't
us
invite
on the
us?
boat.
What's up with that?
See, the incognito.
Well, she was getting her groove on
Oh,
and everything. Boy, she
why
was
y'all didn't
having
take
a
no
good time.
pictures?
I didn't think man, people, man, shit, we was sick.
Oh,
That boat was
man.
moving so
That
much.
was all,
I don't want to think about no pictures.
you had the waterway. You want to think about you getting back. Let me get on.
Let's go to break.
All right.
All right, we'll be right back. When we come back, we're going to get into the entertainment hour, the hour of power, the one that we like to deal with.
Mhm.
This has been 41 Sports Talk Radio on 41radionetwork.com. We will be right back. Now, we're running commercials this time, so we're gonna come right back.
Okay.
All right.
With commercials.
We're going to sit back and
Let's
listen
go.
to some commercials.
All right, let's try this.
Who we got? Who we got?
Okay. Sorry.
Doing okay?
Mhm.
How's your week been?
It's been a great week.
Mhm.
Busy week. A fussing week.
Oh, she said
Yeah.
fussing.
Yeah, I mean, they needed to do some work. I paid them to do some work, and then they came up short.
Uh-oh.
I mean, their work came up short.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't match what you
It
paid.
did not match what I
Turn the
paid
mics
them to do.
on.
So now I got to send them back to do
Turn
the
the mics
same
off.
job, and it's all involved with my get my license. Yeah.
Is Tiffany still here?
Oh,
Did she leave?
Oh yeah, she left.
Oh, she did?
She had to go take whoever those other two were to Drive Nation.
Oh, okay. Oh, they're going to check it out. He's right up the street.
972-704-6585.
Sorry.
We can help first-time or second-chance home buyers. Maybe you're tired of renting. We offer exclusive representation. Phone Joan to buy or sell your home. 972-704-6585. Do you have real estate questions? Don't know what to ask? We can help. Phone Joan today. 972-704-6585. Your children will enjoy Layla the Ladybug and Droop the Dancing Ducklings by authors Darwinton Johnson and Stephanie Simpson. These books were created to captivate children, relate to their emotions, and inspire them with a positive message. Available on most online bookstores, and for more information, please visit the website at inspirationalchildrensbook.com. Inspiring children, one positive message at a...
That's me.
All right, we're back. We're back. We're back. I think we're back.
We're back.
Cut me
No,
off.
I didn't cut you off. We're back. Everybody else heard it. Okay, this has been 41 Sports Talk Radio on 41radionetwork.com. I'm the Benchwarmer, next to security, right next to the professor.
Somebody's thing is up loud.
Security, that ain't me.
It's you.
No, I'm not. I'm off. See? I'm off. That's
Mine is all on mute. It's you.
no, I'm off. I'm mute.
Is it me? Just the TV.
No,
I mean
it's
the
me.
screen. Is it?
Oh, that's her phone. It's doing that.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah, I'll check for it.
It's you.
Sorry.
Okay. So
All right.
Now we're really back.
Now that we figured that out.
There we go. There we go. What you got for us today?
Okay, so we were talking about entertainment, and I had an opportunity to watch the OJ confession.
Yes. Interesting.
And let me tell you something.
If I did it.
If I did it.
If he did it, and the if you haven't seen it, you know, I don't know if people are tired. I was thinking to myself, why are we rehashing this gruesome crime? Why do we keep taking this family through it? But then as I was reading about this interview, the family actually okayed it.
Right.
They were okay with them playing this because, and Chris Darden said it, he said, if I had known that he was saying what he was saying, I'd have let them go ahead and play it back then. He said, because he would have got a conviction off of that.
Maybe Friday.
He said, because he gave so much details that if he was there, if he did it, this is how I would have done it, da-da-da-da-da.
He was there.
He was,
Oh,
if
he
he
was there.
did, look, he, like I told Cedric, he'd have got manslaughter because he had something to do with it.
He had something to do with it.
had something. He may not have laid his hands on that
He
woman,
had something to do with
but
it.
he had something to do with it.
Mhm.
He went over there with Charlie, whoever Charlie is. And, man,
Who is Charlie?
you know,
is,
Charlie is his imaginary friend.
Isn't
No, I
isn't
don't
that
believe it
OJ?
is.
I don't know about that.
I don't think it's him.
well, see,
I think it's somebody else.
Charlie was never brought out in the whole case, though. The name Charlie or a second person was never brought out in the case.
His name is Charlie with quotation marks around it. So I don't know if that's even his real name.
Right. That's what I said.
You
I
know
don't
just his
think
last
it
name,
could have been
also
just
all
one
first name, the last
person.
name person.
Right. But I don't think it could have just been one person. As big as he is, somebody would have screamed, hollered something, and caused attention to come. He couldn't have done that by himself.
It could
It couldn't have been
Al
just one
Collins.
person. That's what I'm saying. It had to be two people involved. And they did find blood that didn't belong to any of them that was there.
Yeah.
So that
Al,
right
Al
there,
Collins.
man, somebody, I don't know if they tested his blood or not, but all I know is that I was looking at this show and I was just imagining the families of the deceased. You know, everybody's always looking at OJ. Oh, he didn't do it. They racking up these things on him. But still, their family had a loss. And when he was talking about this confession and everything that he was saying on the thing, and not one time did he necessarily show any remorse or any sadness. They even said that when they called him, he was like, "Oh, she's dead." You know, and then all he talked about was, "Oh, my statue, how are people gonna look at me?" And and everybody's looking at me like I did something. But your kids lost their mother. You know,
And then didn't go to the gravesite and was
and
cussing
hollering
her?
and stuff. Now they said that did not happen, but he's saying that it happened.
He said, but the coroner said that they said he's here. They
said he's here and he's
here,
yelling.
He's yelling
Well,
at
that's
the
what
gravesite.
he said. They said, but the family is saying they did not say that.
No. The lady said that she heard that.
It's so many inaccuracies with this story that's just ridiculous. But you know, so I went ahead and watched it because it was supposed to be this big deal. So I said, let me just see what's going on. You know, because in my mind, like I told Cedric a long time ago, OJ's everybody's star or whatever, but he was an abuser, and that's what got me too on this show. He downplayed his abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she started it,
Right.
and I fought her, and it was just because we were wrestling. She's aggressive, and she was coming after me, and I'm like, dude, do you know how big you are?
Mm-hmm.
With this little old bony girl, did you see her versus you?
Stiff.
Come on now, she ain't that aggressive. Where she had all them marks and stuff all over her, you know. So they had a domestic violence advocate on there. They were literally sitting there watching it. Christopher Darden was there. The lady that conducted the interview, Jill, I forget her last name, and Nicole Brown Simpson's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just in tears. And I could just imagine, because she was like, you know, they asked her why she was crying. And she said because she was a good mom and she'll never see her kids grow up.
Right.
You know, she'll never have that opportunity. I wish they had somebody there for Ron Goldman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, someone on his
Right,
behalf.
yes.
But I thought it was a good special, you know, and if you hadn't seen it and you can stomach it,
You gotta
you should watch it and just, like they said, judge for yourself. Like I said, personally, I don't think that he didn't have something to do with it. I don't believe he may have done it himself, but he had something to do with it. And he should have been charged with manslaughter, so... but that's that. Hey Tyrone, what's up? Tyrone's on the phone. Hey Jay. And so then moving on to the next thing, we got a movie coming up on Netflix. I love Netflix. My kids told me I can't say Netflix and chill though. I can say that in my own private conversations. But anyway.
We don't need Netflix for that.
I told him not to be taking over my stuff. Anyway.
go.
So, Netflix, I did a story. Benchwarmer asked me to write about Nia Long. And so as I was doing my research, come to find out she has an upcoming film about Shantae. Roxanne Shantae. And I'm not a huge fan of Roxanne Shantae, but I was telling him, you know, Tupac and Biggie and all those guys that were in our era of rap and so on and so forth. It's nice to see stories about them, you know, how they got to where they, you know, got or whatever. So what did you know about Roxanne Shantae?
I'm looking it up now. I never heard that name.
You never heard
Really?
that?
No, I'm going up for looking it up
Roxanne, that wasn't her.
No, it's not right. No,
Okay. See, I don't even know.
Okay, so where? Okay, go ahead. You start.
Yeah, you tell me.
No,
What did you know about Roxanne Shantae?
see, that was forbidden in my
See, that's what I'm saying.
I was raised by my grandmother. So.
It was just church music, right?
Listen.
In her house, Shirley Caesar, what's his name? Cleveland, James Cleveland, Mahalia Jackson. That was what I was listening to.
All right, so let me.
I did too.
So
I
let me
love Prince and Michael Jackson,
Let me
but
give
not
you
no
the
rap.
overall. Let me give you the overall.
Yeah, tell us about
So
Roxanne Shantae.
UTFO came out with a song called Roxanne.
Mm-hmm.
And it talked about this girl who just wouldn't give nobody any play. And they was trying to rap at her so great, so good, they wouldn't give nobody to play.
Mm-hmm. I remember that
Well,
song.
after that, they came out with Roxanne's Revenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then they came out with Roxanne Shantae. And then Roxanne Shantae came out with her little Roxanne Shantae. You best go about your way and have a nice day type thing.
Oh, okay.
You know? But she wasn't the Roxanne that they were referring to. But everybody wanted to make a song about that particular that song, UTFO.
Ah, now I remember UTFO.
Yeah, so everybody.
I remember Lisa and Cold Jam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember
You
that.
know,
Yeah,
see, I remember all them, but I wasn't a big Roxanne. I remember MC Light, you know.
MC, you know,
all
Queen
those
Latifah was
rappers.
around
Queen
that era.
Latifah,
She was there with MC
UNITY.
Who was the Juice Crew?
MC Trouble. The Juice Crew was
I didn't know them.
That's who she was a member of.
Yeah, she was part of the Juice Crew.
Well, who was the Juice Crew?
That was her little thing.
Okay.
But they
Her
didn't
little
really they didn't really do that big. All she had was that Roxanne Shantae. You best go about your way and have a nice day. That's
So
pretty
it
much
looked
all
like
she did.
every rapper that was out in that era had a crew. You know, you had NWA.
They called them posses.
Oh, posses. That's right.
Yeah, they called them posses.
But I'm like you, girl. I was like, so I said, okay, I like Nia Long. She's playing the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And since I don't know that much about Roxanne Shante, I'm going to watch the show to see. So it comes out on March 23rd on Netflix. And I thought it was interesting that maybe there's somebody out there that likes Roxanne Shante and wants to know about her life, or like me, don't know.
Small World. She
what you say, Small World? What you say?
Roxanne, I'm going to be your man.
That's not the Roxanne we talking about.
No. But that's part of the song.
That's part of the song
that's
that
part
she
of
did?
UTFO.
Yeah, UTFO. Yeah. I heard that song, but I didn't. I knew they had some kind of beef, but I thought it was a real Roxanne and a real Roxanne Shante.
It is. That's where the beef comes. There's a real Roxanne. There's a Roxanne, and there's a Roxanne Shante.
Oh, see.
So and actually they call
it
the real
Roxanne. I got to read up on my, because I had to watch Straight Outta Compton so I could get caught up on what NWA was all about. You know my mama wouldn't let me listen to no NWA.
You figured out, Lewis?
Yeah, I'm looking at her songs.
It was like, and?
Okay. It changed the game when I got down here. She had songs called Straight Razor.
Straight Razor.
She had a song called
what's that? What's that? Uh-oh. I don't know what that is.
Try it again. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. That better?
It look good.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Just clear this up, huh?
Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
All right, keep going.
Frick it.
When I was looking at her songs, one of them is Straight Razor. One of them is called Bite This.
Oh,
Bite This.
Lord.
One of them is called Roxanne's Revenge.
Yep, Roxanne's Revenge. That's the one I remember.
One of them is called Go On Girl.
Go On Girl. Yeah, I remember that one too.
One of them called Lucy's Rap.
I remember that one too.
Have a Nice Day.
Ooh, Lucy's Rap.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm looking at something like, okay.
Yeah, I remember those songs.
Name her albums.
I don't know none of that. I guess I'm going to learn what I see.
For ears to hear.
Well, see, and it being on Netflix, you know it's not going to be censored.
It has some little profanity in it.
So Roxanne Shante, was she before Little Kim?
Oh yeah, way
before Little Kim.
Yeah. Also, you compare her to Little.
No.
I'm just saying. You said she had some raunchy songs.
Oh, okay.
You know, Little Kim had it.
Yeah, but her see back then they didn't do that too much airplay. That's why when NWA came out, they had to do explicit. You know, they had to put that explicit on.
Oh yeah, they were the ones that put that on there.
But she came out before NWA.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
She was there before, because UTFO.
When did she come out?
UTFO. This was like the 80s. This was like
but the thing that I read said she was only 14 when she started. Ooh.
Yeah, probably you're probably right.
Tina said, "Ice Cube is my husband."
Yes.
Hey, you know what? I can't even say that because even if I wanted to, because my son makes facial expressions like Ice Cube. My oldest son, I be telling him, I can't even think about him like that because that look like my son.
All right. Her stage name is Roxanne Shante, but her legal name is Lolita.
Yes, I saw that.
So that's why I said there is a real Roxanne out there,
mm-hmm.
and the real Roxanne came out with a song called "The Real Roxanne." She came out with the Roxanne Shante, but then the real Roxanne with Herbie Lovebug. See, Herbie Lovebug is not on we can't do argument.
Oh no, none of this stuff.
Yeah, see,
but I knew Benchwarmer would know.
Yeah, see, Herbie Lovebug was with the real Roxanne. And you know they had, and she actually had an album. Those right there never really hit it.
Well, we're gonna watch the movie and we're gonna do a review.
We're gonna check it out.
We're gonna check it out and let y'all know how the movie is. But you know, y'all tell us how it is when it comes out. It's gonna be on Netflix on March 23rd.
Yeah.
So, are you ready for the he say, she say question?
Yes, we are.
You ready for the discussion? What do you think, audience? You ready? Okay. So, the question, do you want to answer?
No, go ahead. You got it. This is your hour of power. Your time to shine.
Says I'm going to put my power up. Okay, so the question is, Zoe Saldana. You guys know she's the actress from Guess Who and Avatar and some other things. She's Colombian, I believe, or something. But anyway, when she got married, her husband changed his last name.
Keep it going, because you know my answer.
I just want to know what your thoughts are on a man taking a woman's last name versus, you know, the traditional When you get
Hell
married,
no.
you take my last name.
But I thought they did kind of dash in the other person's last name.
Yeah,
That's
on,
what
on,
they-
on there, yeah, dash.
Yeah, but still.
But it flipped the name though.
But he flipped it, so his
name
last name is
It's
whatever.
his middle name, and it's the dash.
Yeah. And
So I posted about this because I read up on that because I knew I was going to say. I said on my post, American actress and dancer Zoe Saldana and Italian artist Marco Perego got married in July 2015. Saldana revealed in a reversal of tradition, her husband adopted her last name upon marriage. Therefore, Zoe became Zoe Saldana Perego, and Marco became Marco Perego Saldana.
mm-hmm.
So she took his last name.
He took her last name.
He took her last name.
He took her last name as a married name. She took his last name as a married name.
But in all her roles and stuff, she still holds her last name.
Yeah.
She doesn't put his last name out there.
See, and I have a huge issue with that myself.
All right.
Okay.
About it.
Let it out.
So why would you, if you are married, you're pledging your life to someone. Okay, as a woman, you're pledging your life to this man. For you to say, I don't want his last name, that's an issue.
Mm.
Because that's basically what you're saying. Well, I'm gonna keep my own last name because guess what? My last name got more pub to it. I'm living off my last name. You know, if I'm marrying Holly Berry, it's gonna be Holly Lyons.
Yes, sir.
All right
It
then.
ain't gonna be Holly Berry.
Well,
I just shut everybody down.
You know,
There are some people that are taking these non-traditional roles, if per se, and it's only about, when statistically looking at it, it's only about 30% of men that are taking the woman's last name.
do you think it emasculates a man to take his wife's last name?
I'm traditional in that sense. So
Yeah, it
Does it make it like the woman is the head of the man?
It does.
When they take
and then we wonder why things are out
out of
Order.
order. Exactly. Because it's out of order.
We allow it to. We put it out of order.
But some people will say, well, it's just a name. It's this.
No, I mean,
But
It's more than
But
that.
it's of course.
You have to be in line.
Yes, you have to be in
Yeah,
order.
it's not-
From the beginning, the foundation has to be set in the right order. And one of the things is you take your husband's last name because you're going into.
So when they got married, did they say, ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. and Mr.?
I don't know what they said. That's what's so crazy.
Did they reverse that? So now is it Mr. and Mrs.? Because you know when you're saying a couple, you say Mr. and Mrs., not Mrs. and Mr.
Phyllis says, I love it. What's in a name? A rose is still a rose.
prime example.
No, if it's wilted, then what is it?
When
Don't get him started, Phyllis.
When Kanye West married Kim Kardashian, what
Right.
did she do?
She hyphenated her last name. It's Kardashian West.
So because of her fame,
Mhm.
instead
She
of
kept
her
Kardashian.
instead of her using Kim West,
She kept Kardashian.
Well,
there was a thought in some of these famous people's minds that if I take away the last name that everybody on
That
God's
I'm famous
earth
for.
knows
I'm not
that
gonna
I
be
made
nobody.
money off of, I'm gonna lose money if I just get rid of Kardashian and just use West. I guarantee
but
you,
I know.
it has a lot to do with
I know,
money.
I know.
Well, I
I
think
know,
that's
exactly.
part of it. But
It's all
in
part of it.
Kardashian's case, not only is it because of the name, but I don't think there are any males in their family. In Kardashian, I think they're only
Chris.
sisters.
Chris,
Chris?
a brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot they do have a brother.
And you know what? I'm gonna go there with you too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go there with you too. If you, first of all, if you're you marry someone, as a woman, you drop your last name and you take on his last name, and I know where you're going because you want to keep your father's name going.
You let me tell my
All
story.
right, well,
Telling my story,
I'm like hell to the no.
No,
Your
no, you
name
didn't.
is-
You need to stop.
Well, I sure
ta-
wanted to.
He and I talked about this.
Mhm.
I would not take his last name. That was not in the question. But what the question was, my father has no sons, and he has there's no other people to carry on his last name. So I decided when we got married, even in my first marriage, to keep my last name, my maiden name, in my name. So it's Shelly L. Jackson Lyons. I don't hyphenate it. It's more of like a middle name than it is a last name, but it's still there because, like I told him, I want to honor my father, you know, because he doesn't have any boys, and I mean that's the only way I can think of in our family.
You're sticking to it,
but I guess it's on my license though.
No,
but I did not take my husband's last name. No, that was not a question in my mind that I wasn't going to take his last name.
Yeah, my whole thing is this right here. Y'all drop all that right there. This is your name, and you can still be famous with with that. Kim Kardashian was gonna stay Kim Kardashian when she was Kim West. It could have been Kim West. I was thinking Kanye was gonna change his last name.
Oh my goodness! I did think that though at first.
And that
Like,
whole
who's
thing-
the more famous?
Well, no, forget that. Who's the man in that relationship?
She's actually being very feminine.
She's being good now, but you know,
she's taking care of
you
her
didn't
kids
think
and
that?
staying out the limelight.
You didn't think that for a long time when they was going through. I
But
mean,
when they had that last child, she stayed out the limelight for a minute before she announced the birth and everything. She kept it private, and I was really surprised by that. And I was excited for them to that moment.
You take on that man's last name because you're taking on that whole man's being. When you get married, that's who you married. You didn't marry your daddy. You didn't marry your mama's last name. You married that man. And that man is the name you take.
Boy. So Tina says, absolutely, it should stay in order. And I added a hyphen, and my ex never let me live that down. And then Phyllis said, what was Eve's last name? Where is it written that you have to take a man's name? Louis!
Oh, I got you.
It's on you.
Wait, can I answer that?
No. You already talked.
No.
Talk.
Let me answer that right there.
Come on,
you know
Cedric.
what? She was one man. Her name was Eve, but she was one man. He took from the rib from a man, and that's where she get that last name man from. Whoa man. Womb. That's her. That was her name. Eve. See, they didn't have last names back then. Abraham was Abraham, but she was one man. He took that womb from the man, and that's where she got the last name.
Taking the
man.
last name outside of that,
The
when
moment,
did it start coming into play?
The moment you did that, that's when you start taking on that man's identity. You took when she took man, he could have named her anything.
That was a good question, Phyllis.
He could have named her anything, but that man, whoa man.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't whoa hyphen Eve man.
Oh well,
yes
sir.
It was whoa man.
Yes, sir.
You know, there was no hyphens in there.
There wasn't no hyphen there.
No, it was
hyphens
whoa
in
man.
there.
That was it.
Okay.
That was pretty good, wasn't it?
That was good.
You know, we always let
That was
Louis
good.
go last. So, did you have anything else to say?
You know, I am totally
Health
for
guru.
to be in line and in order, and that's what we do. I mean, from a biblical standpoint. I mean, I don't understand why we have to debate about every little single thing. You know, it's a little great. No.
That gray area.
But is it just
great.
legalism to make a wife take a husband's last name? Is it legalism, or because it's traditional, you have to do it, or what is it? What is it if you don't do that? Is it disrespectful to not take your husband's last name?
Wouldn't you be proud to want your husband?
I would. I mean, I was very proud to take. I mean, even when he asked me to marry him, one of the things he asked me is, "Do you want to have my last name?" You know, that was how he pretty much asked me. Was like, "Don't you want my last name?" And
No, I didn't say that. I said, "You want my last name, don't you?"
Oh man,
so crazy. I'm trying to make it that he does not have a big ego. But yeah, that's how he said it. "You want my last name, don't you?" I was like, "No." At first, I did say no. When he said it like that,
he said no.
I was like, "No, don't I want you like that?" I love you, honey.
And yet still, where are we now?
Boy,
I told you.
Look, 6 months in, that's what he said. 6 months in.
So Louis, what you got?
Are y'all ready?
Yeah,
ready.
Yeah.
We ready. We ready for
So
Professor.
I did research on this, so I'm gonna present it to you. It won't be long, but it leads up to my point
All right.
about
Okay.
this.
Okay.
So The question I researched was, what does the Bible say about a wife changing her last name at marriage? The tradition of a wife taking her husband's last name at marriage is not found in the Bible.
Whoa.
Alluding to what Phyllis was trying to say.
Mr. Woman,
She took
without the hyphen.
She took the real. So.
In Bible times, most people did not even have last names. Women were often identified by where they lived, by their children, or by their husband.
Right, Jesus of Nazareth.
In Western culture, it has been a common tradition for a wife to change her last name to that of her husband. The vast majority of married women in the West still follow that tradition today. There is nothing explicitly biblical about doing this, since the Bible issues no command to do so.
So it's a man law.
Thus, don't go there.
Law.
Thus, there is nothing explicitly unbiblical about a wife keeping her maiden name or opting for a hyphenated hybrid last name. Some women who legally change their last names after marriage are simply following cultural conventions. Many others, however, are consciously choosing to illustrate a couple of biblical principles, namely the headship of the man and the fact that marriage is the union of two people in the one flesh. Jesus taught that when a man and a woman are married, they are no longer two, but one flesh. A common ritual during wedding ceremonies is the lighting of the unity candle, which illustrates a man leaves his father and mother and is unified to his wife, and they become one flesh. The husband, as the head of the home and the nurturer of his wife, shares his name with her rather than vice versa. Other cultures may have different traditions regarding a woman changing or keeping her last name after marriage. Again, since the Bible does not specifically address the issue, the matter should be decided based upon prayer, cultural considerations, and the wishes of the husband and the wife. And so what I went to the Bible. I got to my Bible.
Of course.
And I found this. Genesis chapter 5, folks. Okay? Genesis chapter 5. Don't forget it.
Yes.
All right. It says, this is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day when God created man, he made him in the likeness of God. He created them male and female, and he blessed them and named them man with a capital M. Do you get that?
Wow, I get that with the capital M.
Call them man.
Did you catch that? He created them male and female, and he blessed them and named them man. He didn't say woman. He said man. He brought Adam and Eve together and blessed them and named them man, meaning those two people are looked at in the same breath as man.
All right.
That's what my belief of when a marriage comes about to where the husband's name becomes her name as well. Only your last name. That's why we see a lot of what she was just saying. So I went to that. That verse right there did it for me. That validated the point. When God said he brought Adam and Eve together and he blessed them first. And when he blessed them, it says he named them man. He didn't say he named them Adam and Eve. He named them man. That was enough for me.
Okay.
That's off the chain.
That was enough.
All right.
That's
to validate my point
straight to the point.
and saying, back to the question, I think if you want to stay biblical, in which God want to create this earth in the first place.
And he created marriage.
Yes, he did. He created a man and woman. And he created man to be the head of the domain.
Yes.
If that's the case, when man and woman join together and become one, that one is called the lion's residence. The lions family.
Yes.
Got it.
The lions.
Now answer the question.
Okay, go ahead.
You want to answer the question of when So God saw that Adam was alone.
Mm-hmm.
He saw that there was not a suitor for Adam. So he put Adam to sleep. He took a rib from Adam
Mm-hmm.
and created Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? At that point, Adam then named Eve.
Mm-hmm. Adam named her.
Adam,
God didn't name
I'm gonna
her.
get somewhere. I'm going somewhere.
Mhm.
Adam then named Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. You shall be, because you came out of my rib. You shall become woman. Okay. So if you want to go to that context, then the owner should be, what is the man going to allow the name to be called in that household?
Mm-hmm. That's what he said.
Is that right?
That's what I said.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's what that's
Y'all
what
are
I'm
in
saying.
agreement.
okay. So Saldana says, you taking my name? I guess that's what it is. Huh?
Mm-hmm. It is what it is.
Now, with the joint last name, or if a woman just don't change the last name at all,
That's a problem.
I'm still trying to understand. I guess
Why would you do it?
it goes back to, I keep thinking about Kim Kardashian.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't go straight west. She went Kardashian west. There's some, and I'm not sure.
But see, we
Winfrey's
kind of
even
gone away
married
from
to-
the
She's not.
She's
question.
not married to him.
She's not.
Okay, there are some famous women out there I can't think of,
That
but
don't-
they kept their last name.
And
Holly
we
Berry
take
kept
that.
her last name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When she's married to
all
Fox,
three times.
Oh, she sure did.
She kept her last name.
Elizabeth, what's her name that was married 7 times?
Elizabeth
Taylor.
Yeah, Elizabeth
Yeah.
Taylor. She never changed her last name.
But you know, these are
She knew
celebrities.
she was getting married 7 times.
No use of changing it. I'm get married
She
7
went all them dang
times.
hyphens.
But see, we kind of got away from the question a little bit because we started to focus on the woman taking the last name of the man. But the question is, as a man taking on a woman's last name, what does that do to a man to do that? Why would you do that?
I think we answered the question, but the answer to that question is he's not.
You gotta
He's
go back
not.
to that.
He's not going by.
Biblical.
I say biblical tradition.
Well, yeah, the tradition, yeah. Either that, or I think it's. I don't. When you go to that point, I don't think it has anything to do with biblical principle. I think it has something to do with, he just said, okay, whatever, because he's not thinking, okay, what is this going to do? How does this make me look, or how does this make me feel if I'm taking on her name? When I'm into my circle, into other circles, how does it make me? You know, what does it look upon on me
Mm-hmm.
if I'm taking on her name?
Uh-oh.
You know,
He done joined.
Who?
Yeah,
Byron.
Yeah, I think we're looking.
I think it's a brother man.
We ain't seen Brother Man in a while, huh?
Yeah, I don't think he's I don't think he's looking at.
I'm waiting on
He going to barber school. He ain't. He too busy. He too busy to be on here with us. But I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna call him and say, "Bro, man, we sure miss
He's too
you."
busy taking on somebody else's name. No, I just think that those men that they're not thinking of actual traditions, and they're just okay, whatever. I don't mind. It's okay. And sometimes it might, what does a man think of another man taking on his wife's last name? How do we?
That's what I'm saying.
How
How does that look to other men when you're taking on
to
your
me, I
wife's last
To me,
name?
I think you're weak.
Hey, Brother Jackson, how you
No, we
doing?
ain't having all that. I think you're weak.
But how well did we know him, though? Do you think he took it strategically for?
Well, what about? Okay, we're gonna go back to
Somebody
Kanye.
trying
Kanye Kardashian.
See,
I don't know,
mean,
it could
me,
sound right.
Kanye Kardashian. And knowing Kanye, he got some little intricacies going on in his head
What
anyway.
if Russell Wilson had taken on Sierra? Did she have? What's her last name anyway?
I don't know. See,
Sarah
I
Mist.
didn't know what
Just know
Sierra's
Sierra.
last name is.
Sarah Mist.
Russell Sierra.
It's not.
It's not Sierra Mist.
No, sir.
She's not a drink.
Mm.
No, but you're right though. So Lewis, would you take on your wife's last name?
her real name is Sierra Princess Harris.
Okay, so Russell Harris.
No.
No.
You couldn't even come on the football field with that.
You know, and that's what I'm saying. How do you look to other men taking on your wife's name?
That contract would have not been signed.
B, help us out, man. You don't have an answer to this question?
Would you have taken on your wife's last name?
I think there's no second thought.
There's no.
No.
No way.
What is
I think I'm gonna stir the pot and I'm
maiden
gonna ask
name?
my guy. You can take my last name
Huh?
and just create some mess.
Oh, that's
What?
what you're gonna do. Tell him, why don't you take my
You
last
can take
name?
my last name.
You gonna ask him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Well,
It's too late for me.
another scene will hit the road.
Oh.
What I single is getting longer and longer.
Don't do it. Don't do it, sister. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Not with a brother.
You know how
See,
they-
he wasn't a brother.
Right.
You know, so you can't do that with brothers.
how
He's looking at you like you're crazy.
how women
Exactly.
how women outmatch weigh men.
Outweigh me.
No, not outweigh men, but how it's more women than men.
Oh,
Yeah.
You're just gonna add to the population.
I am.
Outnumbered.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. And it's not outweighed. Is it?
No, it's not outweighed. No, it's outnumber, honey.
Outnumber.
All right.
What's Canetta's maiden name?
Brown.
I say, I don't even remember. It's been so long.
Louis Brown. What's up, Mr. Brown? Mr. Brown from the Browns.
Denise Brown.
All
That's
right.
her full name.
All
Sheila
right.
Brown.
Mr. Brown.
Hey, Mr. Brown.
I would not answer.
And then what do you name your kids? You
That-
name your kids your wife's last
She
name?
read my. She just. I was just getting ready to say that.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
That
whole
There's a
legacy.
lot
Some
of
people
kids
say
that got their mama last name
Well, the
Oh.
reason why, because
I done seen
Well, I
some
can go
men with
right
some
to court.
hyphenated
the
names.
reason why is
and get
because
a change.
most times, from my understanding, is that if the wife is not married when they have that child, the baby is named based off the wife's last name.
Off the mother,
Off
because
the-
they're not
yeah,
married.
off the mother.
But isn't it unless the father
But it's a
don't
choice.
show up and put his name on the birth
Yeah.
certificate?
No,
It's true.
No.
Nowadays, you
It's a
can.
choice now, but
It's
the
a
father
choice.
cannot show up and put his name on the birth certificate. The mother has to put his name on the birth certificate. The
No,
father can't.
The mother can't do it without the father's permission.
No, listen. If they're not married, yes, they can.
No, I'm saying the mother cannot put the father's name on the birth certificate without the father's permission.
Yes, they can.
Okay.
Yes, they
I ain't
can.
never heard of that.
Yes,
I ain't never heard of that one.
yes, they can. I'm telling
Oh,
you.
he pointed at
I'm telling you. Yes, they can. I'm
my
a
bad.
witness.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I couldn't.
It's the mother has
And
the
have
right.
DNA test.
The mother has the right to put on whatever last name. So if she wants to go to her last name or to one who she feels like the father, because Kevin's last name is Noah is Lyons.
Mm-hmm.
Noah didn't have to be Lyons. He could have been whatever Nancy chose as the last name. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that, but let's go to your point though, Louis, as far as if I'm married and I change my and I
You got comments. Go ahead.
and I don't give my child my last name, well, that's a problem too.
That's what I'm saying.
And I'm
That's the next thing.
I'm gonna give you my wife's last name.
What was you gonna say about the kids?
Now go ahead and read the comments first. Then I'll comment on. We don't never want to ignore the audience.
Oh, definitely not. Okay, so Martez says.
That's not who said it.
Martez said, "I wish I would take my wife's name. That's
Right.
a big negative."
Right.
And he got loads of explanation points.
Right.
And then B said, "That's disrespect to your father and your grandfather. Biblically, legacies are left by fathers, not mothers."
That is correct.
And Phyllis said, "Exactly, Byron. So what's wrong with the daughter keeping her father's name?" All right, Phyllis, you're getting personal.
Hey, it's an open conversation. It's
Martez,
open
my
forum.
dad wasn't there. That's why I'm a Turner instead of a Smiley.
Well, okay. So here's the deal.
Oh.
Let's answer. Let's
Okay.
answer that right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If the daughter gets married, and we're saying that it disrespects the grandfather and the
Father.
and the father, then yes, the mother would have, the wife would then take on the husband's last name, because when they have children, that goes on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
You can't say, well, what about my daughter? Because I hate to say it like this, but I'm
No,
not
you
going to say
don't.
that. I'm not
Just
gonna
say it.
I'm not going to say
Go
it. I'm
on
not
and
gonna
say it.
I'm not
Go
going
Don't
on
say
and
it
say
before
it.
you forget.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Because who's the head?
I mean, you have to go biblical.
You got who's the
The
head?
man
And
is
if the man is the head,
And
then
it's
a woman can't jump in and say, well, no, I just want I want my daddy's last name. Well, you can keep your daddy's last name. You ain't get me, because that's how that's gonna be.
I wish you would have said that to me.
Oh, that's a deal breaker right there. That's a deal breaker right there.
Mm.
But
You love me too much.
I'm just saying though. You know, this whole thing about legacy and everything. You're right. That
Yeah.
man leaves that legacy,
Yeah,
and he can't leave the legacy when.
through his daughter.
Well, number one, you can't lead it through your daughter, but number two, you can't lead that legacy when the wife ain't trying to follow that legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's kind of what that's saying too. I want to keep my own stuff. You keep yours, and we can just build. You can't build that way.
B said it's the bloodline.
It's the bloodline.
And that's true. You know, anytime you do legacy, you do go up the father's line first.
Right.
And the last name follows throughout history.
But you can't say, okay, daughter, you don't have to have my last name. Or, okay, wife, you don't have, because you take my last name. That's just it, bottom line.
You put your foot down?
End story.
Did you put, you sound like your dad. His dad says it all the time. End the story. End the story. End the story. That means it kaput, don't ask me no more, period.
End the story. ...
I think also why you see a lot of children with the mother's last name, sadly to say, is because some mothers don't know who the father is, right? And they have no choice but to have their name assessed to the child.
It's called a coin flip.
That's true. Boy,
we see that quite a bit.
Yeah.
I mean, the mother don't have a choice. I mean, based on her lifestyle, if that's how she rolls, then when she birthed that baby, she'll know who the father is. She's like, okay, I'm gonna have to use my last name right now. And
actually, in the when the baby is birthed, they actually put boy such and such, a girl such and such. So if the mother is not married,
I've seen that.
Yeah, if the mother is not married, it'll say girl Johnson or boy Johnson. If the mother is married, the nurse will put that married last name on there.
Right.
You know, so if they're boy lions or girl lions, and then you come in with the first name. You know, but yeah, I mean, so those things happen. And you're right. If the mama don't know who the daddy is,
that's the problem.
You use her own name.
But there might be a line around the corner. They're my baby daddy.
Oh my goodness.
I'll be the Paul Ball.
Oh my goodness. I knew he was going to do that.
I'll be the Paul, that little chocolate child.
I'm the Paul Boss. Y'all know what movie that's from? Life. I'll be the Paul, that child. I'm the Paul. I'm the Peppy. Bernie Mac said, I'm the Peppy. I can't stand that movie. He loves that movie.
Who said that? Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac said, I was the Peppy. He closed his eyes. And they all just bust out laughing. Byron said, it is sad when you see young men with that's what I was saying. With hyphenated names. No disrespect to mothers, but it's not right. That's disrespecting the father.
One thing that come to mind, Michael Kidd Gilchrist.
Right.
His last name is hyphenated. I don't
understand that neither.
And when I the first time I saw that, I was like, does that mean that he's married to a man and he hyphenated his name? That's what it looked like to me. I was like, what in the world? Why would a man hyphenate his name?
Dominic Roger Cromartie, yep.
I just don't. Now, that's a good one. I ain't, for the life of me, understand that.
I don't understand that one.
Hyphen nothing.
I mean, did the parents get married? They hyphenated their name and therefore their kids have hyphenated names?
I can give you one scenario that I seen a couple go through 15 years ago about that. When the baby was born, the mother who was controlling, she basically said either it's going to be my last name Johnson or it's going to be Johnson Jackson. Your last name won't be Jackson.
Ooh.
Dang.
See, I'd have shut that down way before we
that right there will cause a man to have a hyphenated last name if the baby was a boy.
I'd have shut that to see we wouldn't got to that 9-month period.
It won't be just me.
Martez said, I reckon I'm that baby's daddy. If you don't do anything else, if you have not seen that movie Life, go to YouTube and look up that part. That is the funniest part when they try to figure out who that baby daddy is. Byron says, Shelly, you hit it on the head. That's exactly what it looks like. A man that took a man's name. It does. The very first time I saw a man with a hyphenated last name, I was so confused.
I would be confused too.
I was so confused because I know I can hyphenate my name as a wife, as a woman, but a man to hyphenate, that means you had a main name and then You took on somebody else's last name.
Probably his parents that are hyphenated made his.
But
his
now,
last name hyphen.
but that's what I'm saying. Now I know that's an option. But at first, it was very confusing. It was just like, okay, who does that? And I see people actually on Facebook. And I mean, no disrespect to them, but I see people on Facebook whose names, and I see males, and I have to look twice because I'm like, is that a man with a hyphenated name?
Actually, on Facebook, they be like having like 1,200 names. It'd be long.
No. But I'm saying I have seen people with their first name and a hyphen name.
You just don't want to be.
There you go. There you go.
What was that?
I don't know. I don't
School
know.
days.
School days?
Uh-huh.
What do they have to do with this?
Just want to be. With the hyphen. Never mind. Anyway, so when we come back.
Real quick.
What you got?
Michael Kidd Gilchrist said that he wanted to be known as Michael Kidd Gilchrist because he wanted to showcase both of his family's history.
Okay, we still don't know your family history. What you showcasing?
So his mama's history and his dad's
So
history?
from his perspective, he wanted it was his decision to do that. Now, I didn't expect to see that, but he made that decision. He was Michael Gilchrist, and then he added Kid to it, saying he wanted to showcase both his
So I'm wondering if his parents are divorced, maybe, and so he decided, okay, my mom's last name is Kid.
That
time. Byron said, if a man is born to a single parent, the mother has the option to give him the father's last name if she knows it or not.
Yeah, she does.
Mm.
That's true.
All right. So
that was a good topic.
Spirited conversation. That's why I moved it out to 8:45. We were right on time.
All right.
We were right on time. Got through all of he say she say. Got through all the entertainment segment.
All right.
Now we're gonna come when we come back. We'll get into 4 quarters, and then what I'm gonna do is instead of taking a break, we're gonna go 4 quarters and we're gonna go right into the health section.
I thought we were doing the health section.
No. We're gonna do 4 quarters and go right in the health section, and then we're gonna go March Madness.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Remember we got one more. We got 1 more hour to go.
I know.
All right.
I thought health was next, but okay.
I got this
Hey,
covered.
you boss.
All right.
He's the boss, man.
I'll be the baby daddy.
You be the boss. Can I have some cornbread, boss?
41 Sports Talk Radio on 4radionetwork.com. We will be right back.
What's wrong?
All right, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. We'll be right back.
You said instead of taking a break.
We'll be right back.
No, I was talking to someone else.
We'll be right back. Okay. Did that Chris Tucker did that?
I'll be right back. Yeah.
He's on the stage trying to sing Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
I wanna rock.
We can take a little bit longer if y'all gotta go out.
You gotta do what?
If we gotta, we're gonna take a little bit longer if you gotta get some water. Something like that.
We good?
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Everybody,
My ears are sweating. You doing all right?
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they
You good?
keep up. Why you mad? Fix your face. Ain't my fault they on the chicken. Keep up. Players only. Come on, put your pinky finger to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic pretty girl. It's so clear. Look out.
Uh-oh.
For the hustlers, gangsters, and y'all real friends. Can I preach? Can I preach? Show 'em how I feel, get it in first.
Look at that black phone.
Do your
Oh, sorry. All right, we're back. 41 Sports Talk Radio, 4 Radio Network.
Did you delete it?
No, he's still good, I think.
What's
Okay.
it doing?
So, okay, well, let's get into the 4 quarters. Lewis has 4 quarters for us.
Yes, sir. This 4 quarters is a version of the NFL, of course, and a little bit of the NBA.
All right.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, we're good. Keep going.
I didn't know your thing was touchscreen.
She's just trying to touch the screen.
Thanks, Lewis. It's not.
I didn't. Oh, she
It's
still hit the
not.
screen right at the
I'm
arrow.
still
I should try to hit the back button.
She's just trying to touch the screen.
Thanks, Lewis.
I'm
Just
sorry.
gonna bust me out. I do not have a touchscreen laptop. I have a touchscreen iPad.
Well, we thought you was
I
touch
got
screen.
confused.
That's okay. All right, quarter number 1, Cedric.
What's that water right there?
That's yours. You can have it.
What's in that water? Go ahead, I'm listening.
Don't ask me what's in this water.
I don't know. You got touch screen on. Go ahead.
Well, all the free agency moves the Browns have made, will the Browns qualify for the playoffs for the first time in 15 years?
No, but they gonna get close.
So you still don't.
No, because you
Still
still
think they're
well,
gonna-
you got Cincinnati still in the division. You have Pittsburgh still in the division, and you have who else is in that same division? Baltimore.
Cincinnati, Baltimore, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So now, but I think they're gonna do. They made some great moves. They're making some great moves. They picked up it was Tyrod Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up Landry.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up who else? They picked up those two your big pickups, and then you're gonna go into the draft and get Saquon Barkley. They'll probably wind up getting him because I see Isaiah is getting ready to go to the Jets, I believe. He's getting ready to bowl to the Jets. I could be mistaken, but so,
Isaiah Crowell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he signed a 3-year deal with the New York Jets.
Yeah,
Well, tomorrow will be official.
Mm-hmm. But so to answer your question, I don't think they'll go to the playoffs, but I think they're gonna be a good team. I think they'll be very competitive.
Okay. Quarter 2, with the new contracts of Sammy Watkins and Allen Robinson, will Dez Bryant remain with the Cowboys at his scheduled salary of $12.5 million this year? Sammy Watkins signed a 3-year, $48 million contract with the Chiefs.
Right.
And Allen Robinson went from the Jags to the Bears, 3 years, $42. That is an average of $16 million a year.
Yeah. And Dez will be making 12.
Just 12.5 this year if he stays with the Cowboys. Will count $16 million against the cap.
Right.
Where he will earn in his pocket $12.5 million. So the question is, based upon these wide receiver moves we have been seeing, where the Cowboys have done nothing with Dez Bryant, which I think gave Dez even more leverage by what Allen and Sammy did today with their new teams. Will he have his money scheduled at $12.5 million this year with the Cowboys without them
renegotiating
or cutting his pay?
Anybody else want to take that?
That ain't my strength.
Remember, they have yet to sit down with him.
So it may not have been. It may not have been in the cards to sit down with him anyway. They could have said we're gonna play him out as what he's got.
Mm-hmm.
So if you decide I'm gonna play you out for what you have, then I don't need to sit down with you.
Mm-hmm.
Just come to train. You're already under contract.
Mm-hmm.
Just show up.
Did they ask him to take a pay cut?
They have not asked him anything.
Oh, they haven't asked.
Media is asking him, would you do?
Oh, okay.
Media
always be starting stuff, huh?
Media starting this product. Jerry Jones had said that to him. You know, so right now you're under contract.
So basically, will he get his $12.5 million this year with the Dallas Cowboys?
See, that's a good question. Well, he's not going to get it anywhere else.
Remember, Sammy Watkins didn't do too much for the Rams last year. Allen Robinson
he
was out the whole year with an ACL injury.
Right. But
he still got paid.
He still got paid. Yeah.
But what's wrong with Dez, y'all? What's wrong with it?
Can't run a route.
What's wrong with it? You think his spirit broke after they told him that wasn't a catch, and then now they say it's a catch?
I ain't caught a pass since snakes were little.
I mean, I'm gonna say it again. I don't think there's anything wrong with Dez. People keep saying, "Well, age is catching up with him." I think what affected him the most was the transition from Tony Romo to Dak Prescott.
I think so. It could be. I'll say that one, and I'll also say is that the offense they put in place was not a Dez friendly offense. It was a run friendly offense, and he did real good when it was with DeMarco Murray. But then when you bring in a Ezekiel Elliott, and Ezekiel Elliott can take it to the house anytime he wants to, now I don't necessarily need a Dez Bryant. So now Dez Bryant has been known to take plays off. Not run full or something like that until it's coming your way. But I also think that with Ezekiel Elliott out, that just disrupted the whole offense. So it wasn't just Dez that was having some issues in that offense. It was Cole Beasley having issues in that.
Oh yeah.
It was Bryce Butler. All of them was having issues within that offense. It wasn't just Dez. It was a total package of that offense just not moving.
What was the news I heard about Scandrick today?
Oh, he gone.
Yeah.
And what he put on Twitter today
was
crazy.
What did he do?
What did he put on Twitter? I didn't see it.
We'll get to it in a minute.
Okay.
All right. We'll get to it. We got 3
tease right there.
Buddy.
There you go.
So, answer the question. Will Dez Bryant earn his $12.5 million salary this year with the same team he's been with throughout his career?
I think he will.
Yeah, he will. Yes, I think so.
I think he will. I don't think the Cowboys. And you know what though? This actually gives the Cowboys a better chance not to do anything. With all those salaries that you got, this says the Cowboys don't have to do nothing.
B said he got butter on his hands and he needs a GPS device.
That's true.
Yeah,
I like that. Yeah.
We was trying to figure out what was wrong with him, B.
Ern, on the other side of what Cedric said, I think when you dealt with the Romo, Dez Bryant connection, Romo threw up 50-50 balls, trusting Dez Bryant to outmuscle his defender.
Prescott does not do that.
That Prescott, if you're not open,
you ain't getting it.
You're not getting the ball.
Right.
See, Tony Romo took the risk, and as a result, his interceptions were in the double digits almost every year, except for 2014, where he threw for 9.
But he threw 9.
He had 31 and 9.
But what helped him that year is you had a running game.
Mm-hmm.
So your running game decreases your chances of you throwing an interception because now you don't have to just throw it up there. Throughout his career, he was doing desperate moves.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing remember that play against the Rams, where the
who are you talking about? Dak?
No, Romo. When they hiked the ball back to him, they overthrew him. He had to go back and get the ball, run around, scramble,
Still got the first down.
And just have to throw it up there.
Mm-hmm.
And who he threw it up to wasn't really open. He just had a little hair on him. Romo's career has been like that because he didn't have a lot. He didn't have those players that just get some serious separation.
Mm-hmm.
So now Dak is actually looking for receivers that know how to get separation.
Gotcha.
Okay. All right. Quarter number 3.
That sounded educated, didn't it?
Yes, you did. Steph Curry will be out for the next 4 games due to his ankle issues. That report came out today. The Dubs are 2 games behind the Rockets for the top seed in the West. Wow. The question is the Houston Rockets the best team in the NBA today?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Why?
Anytime you got James Harden, who when he walks by you, they call a foul. Yeah. There's something to that. There's something to that. James Harden would get he goes to the line at least 10 or 15 times a game.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and he gets those fouls. Mm-hmm. I think Draymond Green or somebody had a comment where he's just gonna get those fouls. I mean, they just give it to him. They actually wound up finding him for saying something like that. The referee was gonna give him a foul. But Houston is good.
Yeah.
Houston is good. Houston is good, and I think that even with Steph, I think they can still take him.
Wow.
I think
really?
With Steph and Durant.
Even Steph, well, number one, Steph is not going to be 100%. Steph has been having problems with that ankle for the last, the whole year. Right. So you're not going to get 100% Steph.
They might send him out.
Yeah, they gonna wind up sitting him for a second or two until the playoffs come, right. And then you better hope that ankle is right.
Right.
Because if it's not right, Houston is a good team.
They are.
Houston's a really good team. And then if they go to the finals with Cleveland, because heck, Cleveland's suspect.
Well, no, Toronto.
Yeah, I would say Cleveland's suspect. Who
Houston lost to last week.
Mm-hmm. But those are regular season. Once you get down to the end.
It was 110-103. I know it's regular season, but Houston lost to him.
But Houston know they got the Mavericks a couple more times on the roster, so we ain't gonna worry about that.
So Houston is the best team in the NBA.
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right,
Barbara said maybe Golden State, they're just resting. Wait a minute, hold on.
Resting Curry.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
They have to.
Maybe they're
Resting Curry for the playoff run. Okay, yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah, the thing about it though is you can't do that though. This is not Golden State is not a San Antonio. San Antonio, they can lay off the whole season, the whole regular season. Turn the slip on. I mean the
Flip the switch.
flip the switch.
Yeah.
Y'all see what I got to deal with? Oh my goodness.
Flip the switch, and San Antonio is almost the number one team. They used to do that every year.
And
Yeah,
they're
but
gonna
Tim
miss the
Duncan
playoffs.
ain't their number one.
Yeah. But Golden State can't do that though.
All right, quarter number 4 with back in the NFL with Kirk Cousins' potential 3-year, $85 million contract. That is fully guaranteed.
For 85 fully
All
guaranteed.
of it.
Yes.
Fully guaranteed.
Yes, fully guaranteed.
Wow.
That's $28 million a year. He's the highest paid player in the NFL.
All of the entire contract money is guaranteed in his pocket.
Yes.
The minute he signs it.
The highest paid player in the NFL. For you to go from a team that is just that is mediocre at best, and your quarterback play is decent. You know, to go to Minnesota and they give you the world. And then they let go. What was your question? I'm sorry. I was just going.
That's okay. So look, having said that, the question is, are we now going to see a potential trend of guaranteed contracts in the NFL?
With that one, you will. With that one, and
Why?
But it's not just that guarantee; it's how much of it is guaranteed. Most times they'll guarantee if I'm gonna get a $45 million contract, 20 million may be guaranteed. When you talk about guaranteeing that much money at one time, that's baseball money.
Right.
That's straight baseball
That
money
is
all
baseball
day
money.
long.
Yep.
And that now
You a keeper.
and this is why owners got to docile themselves down and
CBA.
they got to bring themselves back and say, hey, we can't keep doing this. We can't. And it's 3 years. Wait, is
What
Kirk
happens when
Cousins?
he get injured?
Yeah, when it gets injured, you screwed.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot of
is Kirk
money.
Cousins that good?
Right. No.
That means he would be better than Aaron Rodgers. I mean, better
Not
than
even
Tom
close.
Brady. Is he even that good?
Do you know if he signs his contract next tomorrow? Within the last 3 years, he would have made close to $140 million guaranteed.
Because they're doing $25 million every time.
Because his last years with the Redskins were franchise tag,
out, yeah.
which he got $25 and $23 million per year guaranteed, respectively, in 2017 and 2016.
Then you come back.
And he's going up.
Yeah.
He went from 23 to 25, about to go to 28. He's steady going up.
Look who's gonna get the biggest raise.
Who?
Case Keenum.
Oh yeah.
Case Keenum finna get a 900% raise.
He earned $2 million last year as a starting quarterback for the Vikings, and tomorrow he's about to sign a 2-year, $36 million contract, a raise of $16 million.
That's crazy.
From the previous year.
Byron said, pulled out the red shirts, can't hit the quarterback.
So he's making a point that if you're gonna pay these quarterbacks the way they are,
flag football.
you might as well start playing flag football.
Flag football.
Don't even touch it.
Don't touch it. Yeah.
Right.
He's in the grass room.
Yep, that's right. That's true.
In the grass room. But no,
And then go back to what you were saying about what you was
getting ready to say about Kirk.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Kirk Whalum.
Go ahead.
Kirk Cousins. No, you're talking about a quarterback who's number one. He's mediocre at best. He's not the star quarterback. You number one. They didn't put a lot of players around him, but a quarterback like that has got to win games. Kirk Cousins had games where he couldn't win, and it's not the fact that he had the talent around him, but he just wasn't able to win games. If you're going to pay a quarterback like that, you're going to want a quarterback that can win games. If the talent around you can't do it. Kirk Cousins is not that quarterback. Now you're going to take him over to Minnesota, and you're thinking, and Minnesota was so crazy that you had Teddy Bridgewater, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum. Bradford is going to the Cardinals at $20 million. Case Keenum is
or a second option of $20 million that year if they pick it up.
Yeah, okay.
That's some serious money.
Case Keenum is going to, where is he going? He's going to
Denver.
Yeah, and Teddy Bridgewater, the Jets are looking at him.
Yeah, he will sign with them tomorrow for a 1-year contract.
Yeah, so you lost all 3 of your quarterbacks that helped get you to the NFC Championship game. And you're going to bring in Kirk Cousins who you think can get there.
How you feel about that?
That's just crazy.
That I didn't. Crazy. And me, you talked. I asked that question I think a month ago, and I asked you who you think is going to be the starting quarterback for the Vikings, and I think you said Keenum.
I figured it was going to be Case Keenum.
And you said they were going to let Bradford go and keep Bridgewater.
Yeah,
all 3 of them are gone.
All 3 of them gone. Wouldn't that have been the best thing to do? Now guess what you're doing? You could have kept all 3. You could have kept Keenum and Bridgewater at less money than you paying.
So do the Vikings look at Kirk Cousins as an upgrade from Keenum?
Evidently.
Do you?
No. No. I look. Well, Case Keenum only has really 1 year of showcasing.
That's this past year.
So what's going to probably happen is, let's say he go to Denver and they're going to, you get tape on the quarterback. I can show you out now. The defense is going to be able to show him up, and he might not be the quarterback he was this year.
I think Keenum knew he was on the last year of his contract, and he showed out. He pretty much what he did all season with the Vikings was like a showcase to the NFL.
Exactly, but now
to see what kind of money he would get.
But now the NFL sees what you can do. Now the defense is going to game plan against what you can do. You go to Denver, Denver really don't have anybody around you. They don't have a running game. C.J.
Anderson is not bad.
No, he's not. But he's not good either. Plus,
that's true.
Plus, the offensive setup is different in Denver than it was.
They said Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah, but Demaryius Thomas is looking like Bryant.
I mean, look at that quarterback play. They had something.
And guess what?
Brock Osweiler.
Wait, Sanders is not even coming back.
Well, they ain't set in stone yet, but that's what it's looking like.
I don't think he's coming back.
He wants to come back down here anyway.
Bring him on down here. Give Dez a run for his money.
No, you know Dez. It's Terrence Williams.
Give Terrence Williams a run for his money. But what I'm saying is, and something that Case Keenum said, he said once he got to Minnesota, he felt like this is the offense that he can excel in. This offense, because he was looking at other teams he could have gone to, and actually he accepted less to play for Minnesota. So he said, this is the offense I can excel in. And he did. Now you're going to go to Denver, whose offense is totally different. So he's not going to be the same quarterback he was this year.
Wow.
I mean, and Denver's pulling this whole, if you go to when Osweiler was in Denver, and then he left to go to Texans, and then he left to go to Cleveland, who didn't even play a down. Now he's back in Denver, and he's out again. Does Denver, with John Elway, do we know what they're doing with quarterback?
Trevor Siemian,
Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler. You got all these quarterbacks coming in. Do you even know what you're doing? And you're thinking John Elway's the great guy. He's the great captain.
He's the face of Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, but he don't know how to pull a quarterback out.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, that's a good point.
Thank God Dallas didn't get him. No. Jerry Jones going to pull the trigger on Paxton Lynch. So I mean,
let me give a rundown real quick. Anthony Hitchens is gone.
Yeah.
5 years, $45 million. To be with the Kansas City Chiefs. The guarantee money is yet to be reported. Muhammad Wilkerson is with the Packers on a 1-year, $5 million deal with $3 million in incentives. Trumaine Johnson left the Rams, and he is with the Jets, $15 million per season. Malcolm Butler is gone from the Patriots, and rightfully so. They didn't even play him in the Super Bowl.
I knew he
for whatever reason. 5 years, $61 million with $30 million guaranteed with the Titans.
Tennessee got rid of DeMarco Murray.
Right.
Who will probably wind up in DeMarco will probably wind up in Detroit.
Sammy Watkins, 3 years, $48 million with the Chiefs with $30 million guaranteed. Then 2 months with the Rams last year. Torched by Allen Robinson. Jimmy Graham is with the Packers. 3 years, money to be determined, but Aaron Rodgers has him for the next 3 years. Sam Bradford, 1 year, $20 million with $15 million guaranteed. Of that, $20 million for this upcoming year.
I just need to work 1 year.
Case Keenum, 2 years, $36 million to the Broncos. We didn't mention his name today. Drew Brees.
Drew Brees, he's staying with New Orleans.
Oh,
who was sought after by teams.
Yeah, he's
and when New Orleans sniffed it, they signed him today.
He said, no way. Yep, he's staying with New Orleans.
He signed a 2-year, $50 million contract with $27 million guaranteed this year.
Oh, does he have 2 years left, or is that it?
I think the $27 million was pretty much.
That's it.
It.
He won't see that next contract. He won't see the rest of his money.
I don't think so.
He got 1 year and that's it.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
And if he has a Pro Bowl year or he's on the brink of pushing the Saints to the Super Bowl, I think he's come back to New Orleans. I think the pressure's on him just to get them to the showcase. Kirk Cousins, 3 years, $86 million, and just not too long ago, looked like DeMarco Murray is not going to the Titans, but Deion Lewis is.
Deion Lewis.
4 years with the Lions. So DeMarco Murray is still out there. Adrian Peterson was released today.
Yeah,
he's out there.
Oh, wow.
Would you bring AP here?
No, that's a distraction. He wants to start. If you don't start, he's retiring.
Are you sure he wants to start?
Adrian Peterson, when he went to the Cardinals, he said, I have something to show y'all.
Mm-hmm.
He had that 157-yard game.
2 good games, and that was it.
And then he hurt his neck.
That was it. And that's probably why he said, you know what, I can sit back and my career's almost over with.
Let me just
He'll be
make this
33
money.
this upcoming year, but I think he still has something to prove.
But you know why? Okay, so here's the other thing too, and then we'll go to the health segment. But you know why the Cowboys are not an active player right now that you see? I did some research.
Why?
Because the free agencies, the age of free agencies are 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 27. The Cowboys are trying to get younger.
Yeah.
So they want to bring, because what they're trying to do, they're trying to build for the future. If I bring in a 28, 29, 30, 31-year-old player, that's just for that time period.
So no Earl Thomas.
No Earl Thomas. Yeah, no, we're not going to go pick up older players because these older players are not going to last in the league as long as we want them to. We're going to pick up these younger players, maybe sign them to a good contract, so we got future. We have future stability here. That's my thought pattern.
I can't argue with that. That's a Stephen Jones thought pattern to me.
Trying to build for
so with Jerry, it's like, give me the biggest fish down there.
Yeah, Jerry wants to go get another Dion and bring him on.
But it worked. When he got Dion, it worked.
Because they had a complete team at that time.
Right.
And the players, and Dion was still young. You know, but now you got you have a younger team, which I don't know what they're going to do without Hitchens, because
Jalen Smith.
He better step up.
Yeah,
he better step up because when you lose Anthony
Hitchens.
No.
Sean Lee.
Sean Lee, and your defense just goes kaput.
It does.
That's an issue. That is an issue. So
one other thing before we go to her, Orlando Scandal went on social media and said, "Sure would be nice to be free."
Oh, and guess what? Peace out.
He went on Instagram, basically indirectly telling the Dallas Cowboys, "Y'all need to hurry up and let me go."
Dang.
For doing that, I'm gonna sit you around for a
This
second.
dude was bold to do this.
I'm gonna sit you around until June 1st, and then after June 1st, I'm gonna let you go. Because, you know, his cap hit is going to be something, too.
I'm over here like, yikes.
Yeah,
wow.
man.
I'll pull up.
He put them on blast.
I'll pull up Al Davis on you in a heartbeat.
He told the Cowboys, y'all hold me hostage. What's the deal? He just told them, I don't want to be on this team.
They was going to let him go anyway.
Yeah.
They going to let him
But
go.
on their own terms.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what he don't like.
Yeah. On their own terms, yeah.
Woo, wait.
Well, that's it.
No, he
All
didn't.
right. That's some good free agency talk.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to be free, Bob.
I do have one trivia question.
Okay.
Just real quick.
Trivia.
There are so you know these players, they come from college. You know, there's if you can name like at least 5 college teams that have the most players with the most money in the NFL, which ones do you think they'd be? Out of the top 10, just name 5 colleges that have the most players active in the NFL right now and have the most money on the books.
The University of Texas.
OU.
Okay, that's
Sooner, baby.
well. OU is number 9.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're number 8.
Well, at least they're in the top 10.
University of
UT
Texas.
is not in the top 10.
University
Yes.
of Miami.
Yes, they are number 2.
University of Florida State University.
Florida
USC.
State is number 10.
USC.
USC is number 1.
UCLA.
Who said that?
I said that.
Who said
I
that?
said USC.
Oh,
You said
I thought.
I said USC.
Okay.
That was the Florida one.
Oh, okay.
Which one? You said USC was number 1.
Yeah, UCLA is not on the list. USC is number 1.
But USC is number 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So USC is number 1?
Yep.
USC.
Good
$1.1
job.
billion.
Yeah.
Billion?
Billion.
Wow.
Dang.
85 players.
Shut your
So let me run down the list for you.
Yeah, tell us who all is in there.
USC is number 1. Miami, Florida number 2. Miami, Florida has 92 players in the NFL. But the total is 1.1 billion, but they're 1.118. Georgia is only
Really?
80 players, yeah. 940 million.
Alabama.
940 million. Alabama's on this. Louisiana
They have to be.
They gotta be.
Wait, Louisiana State.
What?
LSU, yes.
LSU.
Oh,
well, I can
LSU.
see
Yeah,
LSU.
87.
I can see LSU.
Okay, can you see this? Tennessee.
Yes.
I can see
I can
Tennessee.
see Tennessee.
54 players.
That's a football program.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Alabama, 94 players.
Gotta have Alabama.
Michigan,
I can see that.
66 players. Oklahoma, California.
Oh, wait. Don't be trying to skip over
Oklahoma has 63 players. They have 60 players, 725 million.
There you go.
Okay. California.
I mean, what?
Which California?
Well,
California
yeah, which-
State?
We already did USC.
Cal
So what-
State?
Cal State, yeah.
Oh, Cal State.
Get out of town.
61 players.
Really?
Really?
And Florida State.
So University of Texas nowhere on that list.
Yeah, they're number 12.
Okay, I was gonna say.
Ohio State is number 11.
See, I was thinking about the states that produce the best high school football. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but those
But we
high school
talking about
players,
colleges
those
going
high school
into the
players don't
NFL.
necessarily go to those colleges.
Right. Or to the NFL.
Yeah, or to the NFL. Yeah. So, but Texas is number 12 on the list, and Ohio State is number 11.
The Ohio State University.
Florida is number 12, 13. Virginia, Wisconsin, Auburn, Purdue, North Carolina State.
Penn State.
NC State, I can see that.
Yeah,
I
North
can see
Carolina
NC
State.
State.
No Penn State. I can see NC State for.
I can see NC State.
I can see them for basketball.
Well, yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
not football.
Yeah, that's true.
No
NC
country-
State
they are
before
good
Penn
basketball.
State.
Yes, Penn State is not on this list.
Really?
What?
North Carolina State has 41 players, $509 million.
That's surprising.
Wow.
Yeah.
Utah is on this list.
What?
Oregon is on this list.
Oregon, yes. The
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Virginia Tech, I can see that too.
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame is not on this first list.
That's shocking.
No, Notre Dame.
No, they're not on. Notre Dame is way down here.
But they're on the list.
This is a full list of all the
Oh,
colleges.
the full list.
Matter of fact, Notre Dame is actually after Texas A&M.
Really?
What?
Texas A&M has 65 players in the NFL, but the money on there is $417 million. Notre Dame has 65, but the money is $372 million.
Okay.
Wow.
That's a good list. Man.
Yeah,
That is a great list. You should do it by state next time.
it is about-
What state
Oh,
has
what state's
produced?
got to produce the
Yeah,
most?
what state has produced the most players in the NFL?
It'll be a toss-up between Texas and California.
Maybe California, yeah, Texas. Well, they're the biggest states.
All right, so
All right.
we got.
That was a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good trivia.
Come up with something every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
All right, so we're being introduced to our new segment in the
Now,
show.
take a break.
No, I told you
We're going right in.
Straight
Right
to
on, right.
Yeah, we're gonna jump right in.
Jump on in, girl.
This is the health hour, so we have to be healthy. I have my water.
Please.
I love it.
Please.
I love
Filled with nice vitamins.
it. I love it. I love it.
Did
so-
you watch him pour that water? I just want to make sure you saw him pour the water.
Did not.
At my own fountain.
But today I'm not going to tackle anything of what we eat or drink.
Okay.
That's what we use.
Oh, okay.
What we
What
use?
So we are going to talk about the mouth today.
The who?
The mouth.
Okay.
The oral cavity. So, and this is, I get stopped everywhere all the time. I get messages from my old patients in Kansas, everywhere about the mouth. And so my job is to raise a level of consciousness which will give you more value for your teeth. So because you can't have good oral, you can't have a good quality of life without having a good sound mouth. It just can't. So when people ask me, well, is there a connection between oral and systemic health? Well, obviously it has to be, because there's no way you can separate just the mouth from the rest of the body and have good health. So my job, I wanted to first give you some stats on what is going on with the mouth and why it is so serious, and then I'll get into the roles of the function of some of the teeth. So hopefully I have enough time.
Okay.
But, so did you guys know that there are, on the average of at least 51 million of school hours lost for kids? They miss about 51 million.
51 million?
51 million kids.
School hours.
School hours are lost due to dental disease.
Oh,
Dental
wait.
disease.
Wow.
Really?
There's also some issues with the mouth.
Wow.
Now let's talk about the adults. 164 million work hours are lost due to your dental visits, dental disease that's being taken care of.
Wow.
That's a what, a 10-year job or something like that?
That's a lot of working
It
hours.
is.
You know, when we talk about it and then go even further, wow. 1 out of every 2 Americans, adults, have some form of gum disease. So there are 4 stages. So you have gingivitis.
1, 2. Okay.
Yep.
So 4 of us.
So
have
that's
gum disease.
64.7 million Americans.
Wow.
64.7.
That's staggering.
Yes. And we have, as far as the oral pharyngeal cancer, so we're looking at the mouth and the beginning third of your throat, we have about 50,000 of oral cancers that's diagnosed every year, with about 20% of them dying from some form of oral cancer. Whoa.
Oh.
So you have about 9,700 people that are going to die from some form of oral cancer. And that's generally because, of course, by the time we see it in the mouth,
It's already done.
it's like a pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, pancreatic
It's very far. And, you know, visually, we have things we're looking in the mouth in high-risk areas. But however, you know, if we're not doing any additive things outside of our visions, or even if we have loops on to be able to see a little bit more, you'll still miss it in the first stage for sure.
What are some of the symptoms?
Symptoms, you really don't have a lot of symptoms with oral cancer.
Really?
You really don't.
Wow. So it can't be detected?
And if you're not, yes, it can be detected, but usually we have to use additive things outside of our vision to be able to detect it.
Wow. So just regular dental visits, things like that would not detect oral cancer?
Not just your regular EIE, which is the extra or intra exam that we do before we really actually get into any type of work on the patient. So we're looking, when we ask you to lift your tongue to the roof of your mouth, we're looking, those are high risk areas, the retromolar patch, which is behind usually the distal tooth, but we don't get wisdom teeth that much anymore. You know, we're kind of evolving, but it will be back in those areas.
Wow.
We're looking at, and we're looking for these red and white lesions. So, but still, by the time we really see it, it's really, really
far gone.
It's usually far gone.
Wow.
So, yeah. So that's really kind of some difficult things that, you know, we have to, you know, address. So, but let's talk about, before I get into a lot of the disease, I want to also give value to the teeth, so that it's not at any mini mighty mo when we're thinking about, well, I can just pull this one because I have another one.
Okay.
Because the function of the teeth, they love to be in close proximity of each other. So it's not that you can just pull one and not fill that space. because the tooth, it goes into something called a mesial drift, where it's going to move forward. The tooth above the open space or below the open space goes into something what we call a super eruption. So but before we get to that point, the simple things to help a person is good brushing and flossing will save you money. Actually, everybody's going to brush at least once a day, right? But the flossing is the main factor. You cannot have a healthy house. Your gums are the foundation. If the foundation isn't good, the house is going to fall, which is your tooth.
Wow, I didn't realize flossing was that important.
It's very important. It's equally as important. It's like a tire and a wheel. A car cannot move unless those two are together to get that car to move. Wow. So flossing is equally important, and there are some bad advertisement out there that says you can just rinse with this, that, and the other. No, you need that mechanical action underneath the gum, which the floss goes in there and remove and pull out those things that are sitting on the tooth where the gum tissue is resting on the tooth.
The string.
Yes.
What about these toothbrushes that they got out that supposedly get into all that?
Well, we have several out there. My pick, and the one that, I've been given several to test, and the one that I always use is going to be the Oral-B. Because it's something that's round and it's rotary and it cups around the gum line. It doesn't cause as much abrasion or recession where you're going to lose your gum tissue that leads to root caries or sensitivity.
Is that the one where you can
the spin brush?
Not a spin brush. I don't like the spin brushes because a lot of people get caught up into a dual action. So if you have one that's going in a circular motion and then you have one going in a horizontal motion, that is very destructive to your gum tissue, because when you place it in there, that dual action is not helping. You just need the circular motion that's going to cuff around the gum area. That's the target area. That's where plaque is going to attach, because you have a rough root surface that is right there where the plaque is going to be able to attach. And from that point, either it grows upward or coronally or apically.
What about the water pick?
The water pick is heaven sent.
It is.
It's heaven sent. I used to tell patients, based on back in the day, of course, going to schools in the 90s for hygiene, I used to tell patients that they had to do both, until I had one patient that was paralyzed. And she didn't want to lose her independence. She was an attorney, and she did a lot of stuff, and she wanted to keep that independence. And so she used her water pick twice a day, almost 3 times a day, and her gums are impeccable.
Wow. So you can use a water pick in place of brushing?
No.
Or in addition to brushing?
In addition to your flossing. It's 2 different actions, because we're looking at what's subgingivally.
Oh, okay.
And see, what you need is something that's going to turn that fluid over that's in between the tooth and gum area. And that's what the water pick is designed to do. Scientifically, there is no clinical significance if you use water or if you use Listerine. There's no clinical, to be honest.
Wow.
But you can use it if you want to, or if you're in an active, more moderate or severe case of periodontitis, which is around the tooth inflammation, you can use that, because it's going to work on the anaerobic bacteria. The bacteria that is hard to kill can thrive without having oxygen. So.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. That's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is a mouthful.
But also, I forgot to tell you guys, 30% of adults 65 and older are totally edentulous.
Totally what?
Edentulous, without teeth. They have no teeth.
What?
And that's problematic. That's very problematic, because when you define your quality of life, and it's based on how a person define their health and happiness. Well, you go in a nursing home, if you cannot get in a very imbalanced diet, you're not able to take in the nutrients to keep your body going and strong. So it's a problem. Yeah.
So even if they have dentures, they still?
Well, I worked in a prosthodontist office, which is someone that deals with the total reconstruction of the mouth, restorative wise. Not a lot of patients are willing to spend this type of money, but I've had some people spend over $200,000 on their mouth, and we have a team that works together. But it's either you spend it and you have it, or you're not going to be able to battle other medical conditions and you waste away and die pretty fast. So most of them, they do find a value in it, and they have things called implants. So we have hybrids, we have implants. So you have those things that, well, it's like a titanium screw that's placed down inside the bones, and then you can have a denture either screwed into place where you don't have to take it in and out, or you can have one that comes in and out. But most people out for a hybrid. And so it's kind of permanently put into place. So
what exactly do veneers do?
Veneers is
They're just a covering cosmetic?
Yep, it is. It's just like if you had an acrylic fingernail.
Really?
So a lot of times when we have, well, I can't say his name. I haven't seen him in a while, but we had a CNN anchor that did some veneers as well, and sometimes it is for cosmetic reason, but then there's also maybe one tooth that got hit, had some type of little trauma, and it's a little bit discolored. Internal bleaching didn't whiten it to the way they wanted to, and therefore they did probably 4 veneers across. Or some people that don't want to go into braces, that's called the instant ortho, because when you shave them down and you place those veneers back on there, guess what? They're instant.
Do they come on and off, or are they just...
They're cemented into place.
Get out of here.
They're cemented into place. Now you cannot, I mean, it's a certain amount that has to be etched and pulled away, taken away from the tooth for that to happen, because it has to hook also on the inside. On what we call the lingual surfaces.
So you can't put it over rotten out teeth or anything like that. It has to be a strong root.
There's not a foundation for that. So you can't.
Wow.
I've heard and read about this.
Wow.
So I'll go over a couple more things. The anterior part of the mouth, we have incisors. To give that value, there's a joke out there, floss the ones that you want to keep. Some people just only floss the front teeth. That's a no-go. Your front teeth help you pronounce your words. It interacts with your tongue to be able to say certain words, the TH, SHs. Else we sound like Daffy Duck.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then your canines, they're the longest rooted tooth in the mouth. They're the best anchor that we use when we're doing maybe bridges and other work in the mouth. So they have the longest one of them, and they're to tear and pierce into food. Then we have the premolars. We have a first premolar, we have a second premolar. The premolar that's closest to either the molar or the canine assists that tooth in the function. So they're the assistants in the mouth. And then we also have, of course, your molars. Your molars are breaking your food down for digestion. They have a larger surface area. So that is thus the reason why you're going to have gum disease that's going to be detected in your back teeth first, because of course, location and function of what it's doing for your body.
Wow.
It's a whole company. Who's the CEO of this?
And then the wisdom teeth.
Yes, the wisdom teeth. So I get that question all the time. Do you keep them, or do you extract them? Well, in some cases, we can extract them because of its close proximity to the nerve. So you have the main trigeminal nerve. We have it branches right here, but it branches to the superior and then your inferior alveolar nerve. So if it sits too close to that nerve, they won't extract it because you can have permanent paralysis. And so it's not worth the risk, and you leave a sleeping giant alone. Other cases, if it's kind of partially impacted with bone and tissue, and it has possibly a sac, and we look at the sac as being precancerous. So we urge people to take them out a little bit sooner than later, because the older you get, the more difficult the extraction is and the longer the recovery period is. So for a 17-year-old, you go and you get your wisdom teeth out, of course, quicker and you're fine. But when you're doing it at 50 and 60, that's a beast.
Why do they call them wisdom teeth? Are they smart? They go to class or something like that?
No. I have no idea why we call it. No, that is.
Don't they start coming in when you're older?
Usually between 17 and 21. 17 and 21.
That's maybe at the dumb stage.
17 and 21, usually they come in.
They ain't that smart.
They're evolving, and their other name is third molar.
Third molar. Yeah, I had some taken out. They were impacted, but I was young. Out when I was in my 20s.
In your 20s.
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a mouthful.
You're taking my words.
Okay. Well, that was actually truly
it was a mouthful talking about the mouth.
Okay,
wow,
so
that was great
that was
information.
Yes, that was y'all been taking notes?
Plenty of notes.
Yeah, buddy.
It's recorded.
I got plenty of notes.
All right, so that was our first segment, our first brush with health.
Oh, one more question.
Yes.
My mom told me to use these. They're like little spiral things to floss with. They're really tiny, and they have little bristles. I forget what she called them, but look, my mom, I love her to death. She actually got on video and showed me, this is how I do it. And she's showing me how she's doing her teeth, and I'm like, I don't want to be looking in your mouth. But it was interesting. I had to have a tooth out, and so she was trying to show me how to use these little bristle things. That's what she uses to floss her teeth with, as opposed to using regular floss. I think she uses floss too, but she uses those in addition.
You have to use it in addition because it's going to serve two different areas. You have the contact point areas, in which is going to clean those in between, which helps reduce decay. The kissing cousins is what we call them, when you get decay on two teeth that are touching each other, of course. But in order to, you can do that, but that doesn't get underneath the gum. And you have to get underneath the gum. You have to.
So D's got to leave Kim on. Okay.
And plaque can cause heart disease.
It does. It's linked to cardiovascular disease, low-term birth weight babies, osteoporosis, pulmonary issues.
Wow.
That's what it clogs up your arteries.
It does. It's the same plaque. It's the same plaque. And we have to understand that we have one circulatory system that transports all of it, and it's in the blood. It's your blood that transports.
It's in the blood.
And if you have other conditions like diabetes, anything where you're immunosuppressed, HIV, other things that's going on with your body,
that can be good.
Of course, you're going to have a longer healing time, and you have more problems with it. Diabetics have an abnormal function of the neutrophil, which is one of the white blood cells that goes in and cleans up things for the body. So they have an abnormal function. And then nicotine, if you're a smoker, that's a vasoconstrictor. So therefore, with that, you don't have a normal flow. And that normal flow helps your body get rid of and flush, get junk out.
Wow.
So,
wow. Okay, so now we got that out the way.
Man.
Then we're going to March Madness after this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just run right on into it. The brackets came out.
Right.
I'll send you your bracket. Selection Sunday.
So can people join from the website, or they have to get an actual invitation to join?
I can actually send an invitation.
Okay. Yeah. But we can't put a link on the website.
No, I'm gonna put the whole thing on the website so they can join from there too.
Okay.
Why not? It might be that, yeah. But so Selection Sunday was Sunday. So you get ready to pull out your picks.
Pulling out your bracket?
No, I got a blank bracket.
You
got my pick.
Yeah, I got a pick.
I have a blank bracket here. I made a copy of so I can keep up with what we're going to talk about here.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so other teams, let's read off the number ones.
All right, the number ones, University of VA, Virginia, Xavier,
Yes.
Villanova, who I feel is going to go far in the tournament, and Kansas.
Yes.
Kansas.
Rock, Chalk, Jayhawk.
There you go.
Kansas.
So, University of Virginia, Xavier, Villanova, and University of Kansas.
Of those, which one do you think is going to be the first one out?
VA.
You think
University of VA. Yeah, I think they're going to be out before the Sweet 16.
so? Wow.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is going to go the furthest of the number ones? Because the number ones, more likely they don't go. But
Right.
Kansas better go.
I think Villanova. Kansas, I think, is going to be out by Sweet 16 or the Elite 8. Xavier, I think they may go to the Final Four.
oh, wow, I got Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
I got Villanova going to the Final Four.
They're a pretty good team.
Yeah, my Final Four, if I can remember, is Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
I've got Rhode Island, Villanova, North Carolina, and I think Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Kansas. So, do you have you pulling those up now?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, she's gonna try to pull those
I
up.
think I had. I have 3 because I couldn't make up my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say I have Kansas in 1, Duke in 1, winning all of it, and
You always got Duke winning all that.
I always pick Duke. I have picked Duke since I was a little girl. I always liked Duke. I did.
Someone like Duke because of the color. They blue and white.
Blue and white.
I know what it is. I just
They're
have always.
always there.
Wait, no. Let me back up.
But hey,
I
Chris,
liked Duke when I was little, but I embraced it even more because my second son,
Mm-hmm.
got accepted to Duke when he was in 7th grade into a special program with
Okay.
Duke, and I liked them even more after that
Okay.
because they picked my baby.
Yes. I like Duke.
But anyway, I like Duke. I think I picked Virginia in 1, Kansas, and Duke in the other. I believe that was my final.
Okay. So, okay, I'm asking throwing random questions out there. Do you remember your first time you watched the Final Four? Anybody wants to jump in on their first watch of the Final Four?
My first watch of the Final Four was involving the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Ooh, UNLV. Yeah, with
Larry Johnson,
Larry Johnson,
Jared
yes.
Tarkanian.
Yes.
with
When
the
I
shark.
saw how they
Uh-huh.
played, I fell in love with college basketball. I don't know what was it, and it led me from that to seeing how Duke played, Bobby Hurley and then Grant Hill.
Mhm.
Then I saw the
Wasn't Bo Campbell on that team? On the UNLV team?
I think it was that or Ola Maranow.
He was on Loyola Marymount. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whose team was it's St. John's and it was Mark Jackson, I believe. I think it was Mark Jackson, or was it?
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember
On St. John's?
which year that was. Yeah, it was St. John's. They were a really good team that year, and I cannot remember what year it was. It was in the 90s.
Oh, and Mark
No, it was
Jackson.
in the 90s. Mark Jackson was on the team.
It was probably early 90s.
Yeah, it was early 90s because I think it was before I moved. It was either right before I moved to the Virgin Islands or right after, and that was like between 90 and 93.
Yeah, it was probably
So
early
around
90s.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I kind of started watching in the mid-90s, right when I
Yeah.
graduated from South Oak Cliff.
That's what I was gonna say. I started watching like a little bit after, like
And-
really getting into it, like right after high school.
And then the Fab Five.
Fab Five.
When I started watching all them, I'm like, these some true future NBA stars.
Yeah, Chris Webber.
Chris Webber,
When he didn't call a timeout. When
Right.
he called the wrong timeout, yeah.
Jalen Rose,
Jalen Rose,
Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, them were the teams,
Ooh,
man.
I'm going to take that way back.
Uh-oh.
Way back.
You gonna take it back before we even watched
What are
it.
your memories?
That was one of my best memories with UNLV.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yes. That was one of
Grandmama?
my best memories. Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just something about Larry
Yes.
Johnson and Jared Tarkanian. They clicked.
Mm-hmm.
And man, they made history during that decade. They made history. And that's what got me watching college basketball.
Yeah, some of my early memories are Five Slammer Jammer.
Something we ain't never heard of.
You heard of that?
He started watching basketball when he was
He's talking about the University of Houston, Clyde Drexler.
Yeah.
That was before my time.
That was before my time.
And what's so crazy about it, I don't think they ever won a title.
I don't think they did.
They never won a title, but that team right there was just like all was up and down the court,
Five Slammer Jammer.
Yeah, I remember watching. I think my first memory was in 82, 83. with NC State, not North Carolina, but NC State. Mm-hmm. And the last shot, golly, I cannot remember. Lorenzo Charles. Hit this. They was playing. I think they was playing Duke of Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
But either that team was winning, and NC State came back and hit this half court shot that Lorenzo Charles. It was 1 second or something left. Lorenzo Charles threw it down. He slam dunked it, but the shot came from half court. So I forget who he was. Threw the ball up.
I think I saw highlights of that now.
He threw the ball up. And the clock was going off, and then he just slammed it, and they won. NC State wound up winning. And I'm trying to figure. I think Krzyzewski was the coach or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, but that was my first. I was like, wow. I mean, and from that point, I was like, man, college basketball was a lot more exciting. I mean, I remember when UCLA. I'm not gonna say Kareem. I do too. But
after you was watching the words, Curry, you won't go back. Let everybody know how old you are.
Right.
No, but when you see, you
made me choke on my water.
And UCLA kind of got to it, and they had these two brothers. It starts with an L. The two brothers just hitting on everything. Mm-hmm. And matter of fact, one of them played for the Mavericks. I forget his name, but then they wound up really not being good. I'm like, I started getting away from college basketball when they started letting everybody in to the pros. Mm-hmm. When they stopped regulating college basketball, and we start seeing a lot of the college basketball players go to the NBA, and so that means you watered down the product. Mm-hmm. And like, the product has been so watered down that when Chris Bosh decided he wants to come out his sophomore year, I'm like, let him grow, let him get in and let him grow. But no, bring him on, bring him on. And then Dallas decides to pick up Leon Smith, who never went to the.
Oh, jeez.
Never played. That was very painful.
Oh my God.
I've been watching.
Couldn't be more painful than Greg Oden.
No, Greg Ostertag. Oh, Greg Oden, who never played.
She said it right.
Greg Oden, who always, he looked like a man. I mean, he was a kid. He looked like he was like 800 years old.
He did.
All he needed was gray hair. He could be somebody's coach. But then, that was painful too. No, what was more painful is watching the Mavericks get the 3 J's. Jamal Mashburn out of North Carolina State. Jason Kidd out of LSU.
And Jimmy
Jackson out of Ohio State.
Right.
You got them three, and them three was just doing it.
Jamal's from Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, Jamal's from Kentucky, yeah,
right.
Yeah. And them three was like, you had a package there, they couldn't get along. Because Tony Braxton.
Let's not go there.
What? Don't say that.
Yeah.
They just talked about that
I saw
not too
that
long
too.
ago.
I saw that too.
And Jimmy Jackson was the one that spoke the most about it. And he
said it
wasn't
wasn't
true. I'm like,
said
oh
that
my God, why are we talking about this?
Because you had a team. I mean, these boys right here, they
never got along. They never see eye to eye. One player got injured, which was Jimmy Jackson.
And then Jamal Mashburn got injured.
And Jason Kidd hooked up, and they started winning games. Uh-huh. Then Jamal got hurt. Jimmy came in,
and they couldn't get along.
No, it was Jimmy and Jamal before Jason got there. When Jason Kidd got there, he started having 50-point games from both of them
because he brought both of them two together.
Okay.
Yeah, when he came in, he was the point guard, so he was able to bring both of them together, and they was scoring points like it was nobody's business.
And I remember that was back in the, I think, early 90s. I remember when Jamal Mashburn, he was really good at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, we're getting a good player. He turned out to be...
He turned out to be good. Jim Jackson was good at Ohio State, too. Yeah. But then you bring in, and I figured they were going to get another J. They got in Smokey Walker.
Oh, yeah.
So Marky Walker, number 52. I remember him.
And then he wound up going up to LA. I mean, they broke up that whole
You bring
team.
up some painful.
And the other problem is, first of all, they were playing. Quinn Buckner was the coach.
Quinn Buckner,
Yeah.
Jim Clemens.
And it always started me that how would you bring in a coach who really never coached? he was a sideline announcer. And they bring in a sideline announcer. He was a sideline announcer to go coach the team.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tries to run this triangle offense that he really didn't know. Then you bring in
Jim Clemens.
Well, no, before that you had Dick Mono between that.
Okay, yeah.
So Dick Mono's trying to put everything together. Then you let Dick Mono go, and you bring in Jim Clemens, who brings in another triangle offense.
He was worse.
Yeah, because they figured you was an assistant coach with Phil Jackson.
Right.
So you bring him in. I'm like, God, what are we thinking? And then Frank Zaccanelli, they didn't want the team anyway, so they didn't care.
And that was a bad luck time.
That was a terrible time. Terrible. We couldn't draft. We got Randy White. Remember him? I thought he was a football player.
And he wore number 54.
He wore number 54. Yeah, you had him. You had, Popeye Jones was on the team.
Oh, my.
Now, Popeye Jones was okay.
Decent, yeah.
He was a good rebounder. We had drafted U.A. Blob.
U.A. Blob? Yeah, no, that was way before. U.A. Blob was in the 80s.
No.
U.A. Blob was in the 80s.
So he may have been in the early 90s.
No, he was with Detlef Strickland was in the 80s too.
So you talking about Eric Strickland time?
Yeah.
Them years?
Yeah, Eric Strickland time. The draft picks was just horrible. Horrible. And then and the best move, which was wound up being, I thought was going to be the worst move, they wound up getting Robert Tractor Trailer. That's who they traded to Milwaukee for
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
That's the best trade ever.
Yeah.
Or it turned out to be. Now, don't lie. When we got Nowitzki,
I was
talking.
when we got Nowitzki, I was like, what?
What in the world?
Why are we getting European players? They ain't playing no lick of American basketball. And
Believe me, we all were saying that.
We're going to pass up every...
Not realizing how he developed.
I was thinking, we passed up every American basketball player to go get a Euro.
I remember when Nowitzki first started with the Mavericks, his first year coming off the bench or in the lineup, boy, Charles Barkley and them, boy, they were dogs.
Oh, they were dogs. Bad. Oh, they
was running all over Nowitzki.
Yeah. Oh, no, I got one. Sean Bradley.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, talk about that.
The one that just stand there and look at the
Sean
ball
Bradley.
go over.
I don't see how a 7'6" center get dunked on by Tracy
Brady.
Right.
You remember that dunk?
He gets dunked on by
Everybody. He just stands there.
By everybody. And I remember who was that almost just took him out. Wasn't it Charles Barkley that just almost picked him up and took him out or something like that?
I don't remember.
He was under the goal and going up, and his legs were up on top, higher than his head. I'm like, golly.
I just, man, those some painful years, though.
Yeah.
And what saddened me about those years is you have one of the greatest players in franchise history in the middle of that, after Tarpley, after Blackman and Aguirre, and that was Derek Harper.
Derek Harper, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But you know,
he was in the middle of that mess.
Yeah, but you know who didn't get a lot of play, and I don't know why? Mark Aguirre. You talking about somebody that set this franchise on fire was Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre was a point. He was a scorer. He came out of DePaul. He was a scorer. He was right there with him and Magic Johnson came out. They was best friends. You talking about somebody that put that franchise on his back and said, "Let's go get it." He talking about 25, 30 points a game.
There was a bad breakup
between him and Dick Motta.
And then how I could tell things have not really prevailed at Daryl Harper's.
Because he was not there.
At Daryl Harper's
unveiling. Yeah,
when they hung his jersey up, Mark Aguirre wasn't even there. He should have been there.
He should have been there. Yeah, he should have been the main.
I'm like, there is still
bad blood.
Dick Motta's going on 83, 84 years old. He was there.
Yeah,
he came from way from Idaho just to
get there. Yeah,
attend the ceremony. And Mark
Aguirre was there. So I'm thinking,
I'm like, there's still something going on with that.
I'm gonna try to call him and see, hey man, what's
You remember this little personal here? You remember when I used to work for Swans?
Yeah.
And you remember when I
live at our house.
No, but the guy that dropped that Andre Bowman.
Bowman, yeah, I know him.
Okay, his wife
It was Mark McGuire's
his sister.
yeah.
Right.
Get out
Yeah,
of town.
Right.
Yeah,
His
yeah.
wife's name is Joyce Bowman. Her
Joyce,
brother, I never knew was Mark McGuire. They're from Chicago.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I will have a conversation with him about that. This has been a while, but you know, from what I told back then, Mark McGuire was staying low, have his own business, but not really in the spotlight. He's still not.
No, he used to coach with or he used to do payout personnel with Indiana, the Pacers.
You remember what that was? The disagreement was between him and Mama?
I think I'm not sure. It's about them getting ready to trade him. I think either he demanded a trade or something like that because him and Dick Mata couldn't get along.
B said Mark didn't want to be here.
Yeah, he didn't want to be here. But I got a story for y'all though.
Okay.
All right, so it was one day we was okay. So the church does our annual church functions, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Anniversary.
church anniversary, and the church anniversary because we got that big old that big parking lot. We did anniversary on the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one guy came out and was challenging Mark McGuire, the guy would hit a shot and Mark McGuire would try to hit the shot too. So they was going back and forth. Well, this guy Mark McGuire was not a dunker, but this little bitty kid, he came up there and he started dunking on Mark McGuire. I mean, he wasn't dunking on him, but he was doing a lot of dunks. And Mark McGuire said, "No, this how we're gonna do this." So Herb Williams, remember Herb Williams? Tall Herb Williams. He saw Herb. He said, "Herb, come here." So he told the guy, "You get somebody out of the crowd, and it's me and you against you and him." So I jumped out of the crowd. So it was me and this guy against Herb and Mark McGuire. And we was going for it. We went for to break nobody's legs. We was going for it. The first 3 shots I hit.
Mm-hmm.
Like the first shot, I just pulled up, did a jumper. The second shot, I drove, and Herb Williams was sticking me.
Mm-hmm.
So the second shot, I drove in and just kind of did a layup, and he didn't think So the third shot I drove in, and he was coming for bear.
Mm-hmm.
He come down with them big old paws. I just went under his arms and flipped it up. Boom. We got 3. We needed 1 more to win.
Mm-hmm.
Mark McGuire said, hold up, let's change this out. I'm sticking you now.
Mm-hmm.
And then Herb Williams stuck the other guy. So I drove in, looked like I'm driving. This other guy got open, hit him. He drove, and Herb just slapped his stuff, and then it was over after that. We lost 4-3, but I made a good showing. Every time I see Mark, I say, "You want to go back out again? I mean, what you want?"
That's funny.
Yeah. But
that's a good story.
Yeah, that's my Herb Mark. And Mark, I want to go to his office. He had an office over.
Yes, he does.
Off of golly, I can't remember where it's. Off of 635 in Kuwait. Yeah, so I went over there a couple of times.
So he's still here?
Yeah, he's still here.
Well, last time I spoke with him.
I hadn't spoken to him in a long time.
You should.
I'm trying to get with him sometime.
Yeah, invite him to the show.
Yeah, he would love that because he helped me a little bit with some tips on my paper too.
Okay.
That's before I actually got it out.
Yeah, I think you should work on
We
that.
would love that, Lee.
Okay, so that's my Mark McGuire story.
All right. And you sticking to it.
So the picks will be open up until the 15th. So you have until the 15th to fill out your bracket.
Okay.
Once you fill out your bracket,
man.
yeah, we invite bro. Yeah.
What has happened to bro man?
He in school.
Oh, he's in school.
Yeah, he's going to barber school.
She like, where are we get on his name from?
He really do have a bro. I mean, he sounds just like bro man.
He used to call in here after he had a little something, and he just be talking. We like, who? What are you talking about now? He's really good during football season, though.
Yeah,
that's the best time.
There's a junior golf academy golf orientation on March the 15th. It's going to be a Cedar Crest golf course. If you want to know more information about it, do RSVP at iamgolf.org, or you can go to the website iamgolf.org to find out more about the Junior Golf Academy.
Okay. And is that associated with BAM or
no,
something different?
That's just something different.
Okay.
It's something different.
Cool.
Wow, this has been a show.
Yeah.
It's almost
we
time.
We made it.
We still
we
living?
made it 3 hours.
Yeah, we're good.
We still
hanging.
Yeah, we could have cut. Okay, so next week's he say she say.
Next week's he say she say he say blah. She
sells
seashells by the seashore. Next
crack
week's
corn, I don't
question is it wrong to limit public displays of affection and or having sex with your spouse when relatives visit or are living in your
That
home?
question.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
Okay, so is it wrong to limit your PSD?
PDA, public displays of affection, or limit having sex with your spouse when your relatives visit or when you have people living in your home?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all heard that? Ponder on that.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words? Any last thoughts? Tomorrow. I'm gonna start with you since you.
Yes, get your good brushing and flossing in. That's the most important brushing of the day because there's 8 hours in between. Your mouth is drier, so you're brushing at bedtime, flossing at bedtime. It's most important. Get it in. Good night.
All right.
All right.
My mouth don't stay dry though.
Actually, next week I'm having some major dental surgery done. Throughout my life, because I didn't drink milk, even when I was a baby, I had problems keeping my teeth healthy. When I was like 2 or 3, I had silver caps.
What?
Because I would not drink milk. I kept throwing it up.
Ooh.
And I knew what milk did to the teeth. So, and to this day, I can't drink milk straight unless it's with like macaroni and cheese or if it's ice cream or something. But through all those years, I ended up having the gum disease. I ended up having, my mom told me I had whatever soft teeth meant. It just couldn't stay. So, yeah, I'm having dental surgery next week, and she mentioned implants, which is what I'm having to end up getting anyway.
Wow.
And at least across the top, the bottoms are fine, but right up here and in the back, man, I couldn't keep them. I could not keep them, and I didn't floss as much like she said, but I brushed my teeth every day. I brushed my teeth when I woke up, after I ate during the middle of the day, and before I went to bed at night. But the flossing part I only did like one time. I didn't realize how important flossing was until she explained. I'm like, wow, no wonder why my teeth came out to be, the way it is now. So I got to visit the dentist. This is the first of 3 visits.
Wow.
Where the price is pretty hefty.
I know it is.
Thank God for insurance.
I know it is.
Because the dentist told me it was going to be about $10,000. But with my insurance, it was going to be $2,500.
That's not bad.
Out of my pocket. So
wow.
I started saving, and I'm at that point now. So
is that your birthday present to yourself?
Yes, because I was so tired of hurting all the time. I didn't like my smile, and I wanted my smile back. And people were like, why you don't smile as much? And I never would tell them. I tell people because I didn't like my teeth. So I'm going to start all over. I'm just going to get implants and start going to the dentist at least twice a year.
Okay. Wow. We kind of made the same decision. I ended up having to have a tooth extracted in December. It was a tooth that had been bothering me for years, and finally it was just so painful. I was like, okay, you got to come out. So this is my week to make doctor's appointments, make dental appointments, make sure we do everything that we're supposed to do. So I actually have a dentist appointment this week, and my doctor's appointment is at the end of the month, and then Mr. Man got a doctor's appointment and trying to get him into the dentist as well. So that was good information.
And I started seeing people passing away at 40.
Yes.
A lot of my classmates, and I'll be 41, thank God, Friday.
You passed 40.
The Lord says the same. But I started seeing my classmates. For some reason now, I'm starting to see when people hit 40, they start struggling with their health. Heart condition, having strokes. As you know, I have high blood pressure, which I was diagnosed at the age of 30. I had to change my diet, and now I'm into making sure my eyes are healthy, which I just got that out the way 2 weeks ago. I had to get new glasses, same thing, same frame, but new lenses because now it's harder for me to see even the things closer to me.
Wow.
So I had to get all a new prescription. So I'm done with my eyes, now I'm going to my mouth. Okay. So I got to find ways to make sure I can get to 50.
Yeah. That's why we started really doing it, because my brother told me he had a friend, and my brother's in his 30s. He had a friend in his 30s die, because he had a mouth infection that went to his heart.
Oh, yes, I heard that before.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, that's my cue. Let me find us
It's
a dentist.
very
Let's,
serious.
you know, we got to start doing this because I ain't trying to lose, you know, so.
All right.
It's good to have him on the show.
It is.
Just to let
It
you know
is.
that.
Yeah. We enjoyed the segment.
Yes, great.
You've been listening to 411 Sports Talk Radio on 411RadioNetwork.com. We will be out and we will see you guys next week.
See you next week. Peace out.